I pray you sing to the Lord a new song. Sing praise in the assembly of the righteous. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud on their beds. Let the high praise of God be on the mouths of the saints and a two-edged sword in their hand to execute vengeance on the demonic nations and punishments on those peoples, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute on them this written judgment. This honor have all his saints. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Sing to him a new song. Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord.
Eloheinu, Elohim Shalanu, Abo Abraham, Yitzchak and Yaakov. In three things I was beautified and stood up beautiful, both before Elohim and men. One, being the unity of brethren. Two, the love of neighbors. And the third witness is a man and a wife that agree together. Through understanding these things, Abba, our deliverance draws nigh. So forgive our forefathers and foremothers for their transgressions. Forgive the transgressions of this forward generation and continue to uproot the children of light. For you said, come unto me, all ye that desires of me, and fill yourselves with my fruits. So therefore shall every man be judged by his fruits. I just pray my fruits are those of a righteous rule. So change is gonna come, they said. But in order to see a change, you must first change yourself. For it was said the seed can only be watered correctly when the planter understands exactly what it needs and what foundation it must grow from. So let your will be done, Abba. Let your will be done. For I said, consider that I labor not for myself only, but for all them that seek learning. Hear me, O great man of the people. Hearken with your ears, ye rulers of the congregation. Give not thy son and wife, thy brother or a friend power over thee while thou livest. And give not thy goods to another unless it offend thee. Thou would treat for the same again, as long as thou livest and have breath in thee. Give not thyself over to any, for it is better that thy children should seek thee, than that should stand in their courtesy. Hallelujah. Blessed the man that is found without blemish.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Shabbat shalom, family.
Shabbat shalom.
All right, so we're back at it, what y'all just heard was my new soundtrack, meditation soundtrack that will be on the upcoming album called The Holy Meditation. Definitely want to say thank you to everybody who has been supporting it thus far. First time doing that, so you know, y'all willing to move how he needs it to move, and now my own will. And so I put the link of the soundtrack in the post, so you can definitely click that. It's on SoundCloud right now. It's called The Rebirth of a Nation. So definitely support that. So we back at it, y'all. Back at it for the third part of the first part of a series. You know, a family structure when it comes to the Hebrew community. But before we get started, let's say a prayer, okay? If everybody can stand up. out of the book of Tehillim, chapter 98. We're going to read verses 1 to 9. We're going to read it together. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Come on, y'all. Hallelujah.
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 I'm in the book of Psalms, chapter 98, verses 1 to 9. Oh, sing unto Yahweh a new song, for he hath done marvelous things. His right hand and his holy arm, he hath gotten him the victory. Yahweh hath made known his salvation. His righteousness hath he openly showed in the sight of the heathen. He hath remembered his mercy and his truth towards the house of Israel. All the ends of the earth have seen the salvation of our Elohim. Make a joyful noise unto Yahweh, all the earth. Make a loud noise and rejoice and sing praise. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Sing unto Yahweh the harp, with the harp and the voice of a song, with trumpets and the sound of cornet. Make a joyful noise before Yahweh the King. Let the sea roar, and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. Let the floods clap their hands. Let the hills be joyful together before Yahweh. For he hath come to judge the earth. With righteousness shall he judge the world, and the people with equity. And the congregation will say, count it all joy.
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 Hallelujah.
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 Yahweh.
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 Yahweh. Hallelujah. Hallelujah, Yahweh. Oh, Toda, Rabba, Toda, oh Yah. We thank you, oh Yah, for another Shabbat. Another day where we could come and commune and be one with you. To be Echad with you. The week was long, oh Yah. You said 6 days shall thou labor, but the Shabbat day he shall rest. So right now, not only do we rest from our natural needs and wants and desires and duties and responsibilities, oh yeah, but we rest from the spiritual, laborious work that even our minds, the warfare of our minds, attempt to set against us, oh yeah. Oh yeah, right now we cast every care at your feet because we know you care for us.
Hallelujah.
We bring no burdens into the Shabbat. No burdens. The known and the unknown, the seen and the unseen.
Hallelujah.
And we just decree that you are our power and you are our sovereign one. We thank you so much. We get to enter into your joy. We get to enter into your Shabbat. We get to enter into your rest. By way of invitation, by way of covenant that our fathers made to you. We thank you, oh Yah, for another opportunity. Hallelujah.
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 We praise you, oh Yah. We thank you for again another opportunity to come before you and partake of your word, your bread. Hallelujah. Your bread, your sustenance, even your living water. This water that you said we would drink, we would never thirst again. Father, you said you will fill us with our bellies with living water, Father. Hallelujah. We keep your ways, so we come to you humbly. We come to you knowing that in ourselves there is nothing we can do on our own. The very breath we breathe is not our own, oh Yah. The very breath we can't even control, oh yeah. So we ask you, oh Father, continuously, Father, to breathe even your ruach, even your word, into our being and into our spirit, oh yeah. We ask, Father, that we will be truly one with you. Father, let our thoughts be your thoughts. Let your ways be our ways, Father. Let us not be so far away from you, Father. Let not the difference be made, oh Yah, that the heavens and earth span so far apart, Father, but we can be one with you through your Mashiach and his sufferings.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. We have a petitioner that sits at your right hand. We have a mediator that sits at your right hand. Even your word made flesh that is reconciled us unto you. We thank you so much, Father. We thank you. Why do we thank you so much, Father? Because we're in the midst of a thankless generation. And we cannot offer rams and bullocks and sheep and goats. Those are only substitutes for the obedience that you desire, Father.
Hallelujah.
Father, when we hold our hands up to you, don't see blood hands full of vain sacrifices and vain words. Oh, yeah, but look in our hearts, oh, yeah. And Father, whatever needs to be changing, Father, everything that needs to be changed, Father, we ask that you circumcise. Remove the stony heart and put a heart of flesh in us, oh, yeah. That your word be made live in us, Father, that your covenant, that your law, statutes, and commandments we will do. So we thank you, Father. We ask right now in the name of Mashiach that you forgive us of all our sins. And not only of our sins, but our forefathers that came before us, and where we find ourselves right now in exile, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. Truly your word is true. Your word is true. You said we will be scattered to the four corners of earth. And here we find ourselves praying and petitioning that we may reconcile ourselves to our differences with you, oh God. That we will no longer be between two opinions, oh Father. But that we will believe that you are Yah and Yah alone, and beside you there is no other Elohim. You stand alone in awe, in power and in might. You play with all power in your hands. You play with all power. We thank you, oh yeah. We thank you. We thank you. And we thank you. Oh yeah, we ask that you right now send the spirit of ministering through your servant, even your Moreh, Mikael Benjamin, that you, oh yeah, you will fill his mouth, you will fill his mind, you will fill his heart. Let only your words be spoken. Let him right now, oh Yah, be humble and spread out as an open table, that the sheep, let him be that prepared table, oh Yah, that the children can come and eat before you, oh Yah. We thank you, Father, for him and his obedience and his compliance to your word and his willingness to do what you say to do. So right now, Father, we know that this message will be that of a sanctified message, oh yeah, sacred for those who are your sheep. And we just thank you, and we say Toda again and again and again. In the mighty name of Yeshua HaMashiach, we pray. Amen and amen. Selah.
Trying to shake up the earth.
Hallelujah.
Trying to shake up the heavens.
Hallelujah.
Trying to shake up the demons that
Hallelujah.
in the name of Yahushua Mashiach.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah! 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 Avinu! Sheba Shemayim! Yikodesh! Shimka! Tabo! They say.
But the thing about that is, when you got Yah on your side, and in His name, can't none of them do nothing against you, right?
Okay.
And so, even with all the scoffers and those who are opposed to getting back to righteous order, we're gonna keep pushing this word in sincerity and truth, right? And so, through that, we give double honors to all the elders who are in righteous patriarchy.
Okay.
We give honors to Elder Thomas Murray, the tribe of Murray.
Okay.
We give honors, double honors to the house of Asa.
Okay.
We give all double honors to the house of Adai. And in that order. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
So now we're going back, finishing up on part 3. Well, really part 3 of part 1 of the family structure, right? In the beginning was Echad. In the beginning was oneness. In the beginning was unity, right? And so, let's review a little bit of what we discussed for the last 2 weeks. If anybody wants to go, what did we discuss for the last 2 weeks?
Well, I know you most definitely the first the entry presentation we dealt with certain stats that dealt with certain things that was affecting the marital status of the black community, and as well of the sexual status and how those stats were affecting the family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, really dealing more with some of the variances and the abnormalities of the black community,
right,
dealing with different sexual behaviors and how that was affecting children and overall affecting the marriages overall, right?
Okay.
And it was bleak.
Mm-hmm.
It was real bleak what we were seeing. I think one of the stats were black women are at a 50% divorce. 70%. Okay.
Yeah, the black community at a 70% divorce rate.
Mm-hmm. And something else I want to add to that. When in your research, did they say that females were actually the ones that was more, the proponents of divorce? Did they touch on that?
Yeah. So pretty much it was touching that, unfortunately our sisters in the world have tried to send this message out that there is no good black, so-called Negro men, no good ones in the world. But what the stats and facts it showed is actually the same message getting pushed out through generations that you don't need a man, right? A man can't do this and that. Not that it's no good men, because there's plenty of good, young brothers out there, just like there's plenty of good young sisters. But when you continually to push the same message to our children through our own experiences, right? They regurgitate these messages and they pass it on to their children. They pass it on to their children, and that's just what's been going on with our sisters. The message that you don't need a man continues to get passed on, and then we see the results of that. And it's not the only case that we see, but that's one of the things that we see results of that message. That now it's a 70% divorce rate within our community. Another thing we talked about is when you go to the black church, only 31% of the black women in there are married. Why? It makes no sense, right? It makes no sense at all. And so these are the same messages that continue to get passed down to each and every generation, yet we want to ask, why are we going through this? You know what I'm saying? If you want to see a change, you got to change yourself. You got to change the message. You got to change the delivery. You got to change how you went about things, and sometimes different or contrary to what you were taught growing up by your parents, because you literally getting the same teachings that they were getting. Just like when we was talking about food. People want to say you got the diabetes is genetics. It's not genetics. You're just eating the same crap that your parents was eating that was fed to them, and they eating the same thing that was fed to their parents. And this is the same thing, continue. There ain't no genetics. It's a generational thing that keep happening. Same thing over and over. And so we're coming into a realization that it hasn't been working. The message has not been working that we want to live independent. Man nor woman was created to live independent. And that's what we have to realize, unfortunately, especially our sisters, that you cannot. You can do it in this world, but to be prosperous with the Father, you cannot do it by yourself. Right? Remember, man was not created for woman. Woman was created for man. But man was not created for himself. He was created for somebody. And see, we see that same trickle effect. And so pretty much leading up to this part, we're going through the scriptures on what men and women were created for. And why they would want to, the purpose of them coming together. So pretty much we're going to clean it up or finish it up and mold it up. And we're going to show the actual purpose. And this has to be the same exact plan for each and every man and woman. If it does not line up with better sheets in a beginning, the beginning plan, the beginning blueprint that the Father gave us down, most of the time it would not work. And then we're going to get on the men because it has to be the man who gets back in line. I mean, there's no way around it. If you depending on the sister to get in line by herself, you're going to get the same result that you've been getting for the last 100 years.
Say that again. I mean, delve in that a little bit. You said something that struck a nerve. You said we're going to get the same results based on what again?
So meaning we're going to get the same result. If you're depending on a woman to get herself together for you, you're going to literally get the same result you've been getting for 100 years of her finding independency in that, of her landing on herself. It's actually going to take you to get her together. Just like it's going to take the Father and the Mashiach to get you together. Or a man, a righteous man. It takes a man to get a man together.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So to think you can do this by yourself independently, you're just doing the same blueprint that the Hashatan has put in the ears of Eve since the beginning. That was the same blueprint he gave her. If you do this self-will independently, you no longer have to depend on anybody. You can depend on yourself, because you yourself will be God.
How?
And therefore you have the birth of Egyptology. It's the truth. And so we're going to see exactly why man and women is created. But I want to pick off where we left off is 1 Corinthians 6. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19. For those who watching the film on the live feed, thank you all for tuning in. I hope you got your notebooks, you got your papers, your pens, you got your 1611 King James Version and Apocrypha. Because if you missed the last 2 weeks, they're still on my page. You can definitely go check them out. Pretty much, we're wrapping up on the first part of family structure, and so we got 1 Corinthians 6 and 19. Make sure you also share the feed, please. I think it's a message that every so-called Negro, male, woman, and child needs to hear, even in the Hebraic community. Because we have been lost in the sauce for way too long and been trying to figure out our own culture by ourselves rather than applying Job 8 and 8 and remembering the former days. You know what I'm saying? And this is the same cycle I've been seeing. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to create something from what we think it is rather than actually going back to what it is. How we got this thing of how we're fringes to a certain degree. You know what I'm saying? If you understood the culture, which the culture is still in Africa, believe it or not, it's still in Africa. And so for us to try to lean on our own understanding, when we ourselves, if we had to add up all the years we've been in this truth, let's just say to 1950, that's only 69 years of knowing self. When we got 2,000 plus years of things we got to learn, and we think we got it. And that's the problem with our community, is we lean onto our own understanding, even in this walk, that we think we know it all. Or you go with the attitude that it really don't matter. As long as I know the word, believe in the Father and the Son, then I'm good. That's the basis of your belief. But to live the culture in mind, body, soul, apparel, and language, that's a whole nother beast. That's what the enemy is scared of. You can know the Father, you can know the Son, you can know your Hebrew Israelite. But how can they identify who you are? If you don't even want to identify yourself. And so the basis of identifying is family structure. The very thing, they weren't trying to take our clothes away from us. They were trying to take away our family structure and how we think and speak to each other. If you read in the history books, these are the very things they try to take away from us. How we praise, how we pray, how we speak to each other, how we dialect with each other. And how strong our family was were the very 4 pillars of what they tried to take from us. Very 4 things that actually make a culture. And so to deny these things, say it's not important, you literally are denying yourself and the Creator. And so let's get it. So we got to understand, we're not here for ourselves. We're going to see what we're here for.
1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19. What? Know you not that your body is the temple of the Ruach HaKodesh?
So your body is not of your own.
Which is in you, which ye have of Elohim, and ye are not your own.
You're not what?
Your own.
So you're not here for yourself, men, women, or child. You're not here for yourself, but you are literally here to be in servitude. Yes, the one above you is the person you're supposed to serve. Come on.
For ye are bought with a price.
You're bought with what?
A price.
What we always, man, listen, things in this world ain't free, including yourself. And that's why the enemy got to pay for what they paid, because they stole Yah's property. Come on.
Therefore glorify Elohim in your body.
In your what?
In your body.
And that could be metaphorically, or that could be physically. Metaphorically is we glorify ourselves within the body of Mashiach. Come on.
And in your Ruach.
And in your Ruach, come on.
Which are Elohim.
Which are Elohim's, and not yours. Women, your body is not yours. And we can prove that with the scriptures. So if you think you got full control of your own body, you fooling yourself. Which therefore you're doing rebellion. And we know according to 1 Samuel, rebellion is what? Witchcraft. You're working in the iniquities of darkness. You think you're going to deny your husband of what is his, as if the husband's denying the Mashiach of what is his? You are a fool. Therefore, you are practicing witchcraft. Okay. 1 Corinthians 7 and 20.
1 Corinthians chapter 7, verse 20. Let every man abide in the same calling.
In the same what?
Calling.
Come on.
Wherein he was called.
Where we was called. We all in the same calling. No matter the different gifts, areas, title you're under, we're all in the same calling. Period. And so we have to measure when we look at a husband, right? Or we look at a man of Yah, and we look at a wife, and a wife of an Ish. Are we in the calling? Are we in the structure and the qualifications of a calling? And if you're not to the T, you are being disobedient. Simple as that. You understand?
Okay.
Simple as that. We got to stop trying to think that our bodies and our minds are our own. It's not. It's the Father's. And so if the Father had a plan that we were supposed to execute, and you going about it your own way, your own understanding, you are being a disobedient son and daughter. Do you understand?
Yes.
Ain't no such thing as, oh, let me take my time. Let me get used to it. No, once you came into the knowledge of the truth, it was done. You were marked. Now, of course, it takes some refining, but to fix your mouth to say, oh, it's going to take me some time to get there. Oh, okay. Well, it's going to take y'all some time to send your ass in protection. Real talk. You can't be sitting here praying for the Father, asking him to send you something immediately when you ain't even bowing immediately. Some of y'all your knees ain't even touched the ground yet to pray. But you want to sit here and petition to the Father what he need to do for you. That makes no sense. And so through this study, through this time, we've seen that it's been made very clear having options, free will, or ordering our own steps have not been successful at all. Not at all, right? And so what we'll see is through the scripture, we never chose our own spouse. Not to that degree. It was always with the blessings of a man. Jacob, did he just go take Rachel? Did he go take Leah? No. He had to get the authoritative permission by a man. And so now we compare it to today. All we do is choose who we believe we need to be with. And a lot of times it's not even by the inward parts. We're choosing about how they look on the outside. And what has that gotten us, y'all? Tell me.
Nowhere.
Oh, it gotten us somewhere. Where has it gotten us?
70% divorce.
It's gotten us 70% of divorce rate. And the other 30, or at least 25, I'm pretty sure, is unhappy. Miserable, staying with somebody. You were not supposed to be in something that you're miserable in. That's not what marriage is. Do you understand? It was not meant for that. Therefore, a lot of times you're in that situation, it's probably because y'all was not supposed to be together in the first place. Like I said last week, you got different frequencies, right? But majority of frequencies, as long as they're at a higher level, are good, right? Mm-hmm. So you got something called 432 hertz. And then you got 528 and higher, 738, right? They're all good frequencies. But once they come together, are they good? No, it's just a little wavy thing going on. They trying to fight each other, trying to fit into each other's little puzzle piece, but it's just not working. Because you were not meant to be together in that frequency. 528 was supposed to be 528. 432 was supposed to be 432. Yet we got people choosing people who are not even worthy of the rod. Or worthy of a woman's fruit. I'm dead serious. Some people not even worthy of your time. But you'll skip all these steps of proving somebody and courting somebody. You have a baby with them, and now you realize you probably messed up.
Story of my life.
Did we have a testimony? Right? But it's the you got a testimony. Hey, it's the truth though. It's the truth, man. We have failed terribly. Well, we have failed successfully at doing things or doing things for ourselves.
Yes. Yes.
Just the truth. Most women who husbands they have, their father didn't pick him. Most women brothers have, his father didn't pick her. And I'm pretty sure down the line, before y'all got together, your parents probably said she or he ain't good enough for you. And you totally ignored it, whether they was in the truth or not. This is the result of when we want to choose our own spouse. And like, you know, me and the sister Amina, you know, have conversations and have counsel, and the truth is it's just we have failed terribly. And the thing is, you have to, not we, but us as a people have failed terribly. We take why we need a spouse the wrong way. A spouse is literally, and we're gonna get into it. A woman is literally there to help you with whatever plan the Father has given you. But a lot of times, before you get to him, you have formulated a plan for yourself, and it's not of the Father. Y'all follow me?
Okay.
And even with the woman, she's guiding what you thinking you supposed to help her. It ain't the case. She's supposed to help you. But brother, you gotta have your own plan and formulate your own plan to have her something to do. Y'all following me? She's there to help you with what the Father is giving you to do. Not your own plan. And she ain't supposed to be coming in there with her own plan either. Because we give it all glory, right? This is all glory to the Father. We're His glory. We're not each other's glory. Because if I'm fashioning my wife in the likeness of me, I'm ultimately fashioning her in the likeness of the Father.
Can I say something, Michael? What you just said just really sparked a nerve. I think this is why we even see the dysfunction in those of us who've come into this so-called awakening. We believe that somehow us making a new commitment to the Most High and waking up to who we are, but we still bring some of the value systems or the lack of value systems into this culture, and we have not tapped into how this culture regulated marriage, right? And so you will hear about brothers that are with sisters, and then next thing you know, the sisters is looking for a new husband because they said he was either violent, he was abusive, or you know the brothers like she was a stiff neck, she was rebellious, I couldn't stay with her, and because we're still doing marriage the Gentile way, right? We have not submitted to the scripture. We have not submitted to HaTorah. We have not committed to the instructions. And we want to come into this reality and say that we're grown men and women.
Right.
But if we're willing to be honest, we are children. I don't care how old you are. You are a child that is coming out of the parentage and the influence of your enemy. And so a lot of us are bringing this dysfunction in this walk. And we do not want to deal with that reality. We do not want to say, you know what, I do not know how to choose a wife for me. Based upon my ignorance of what a wife really should be, what should be her function, what should be her purpose, what should be her utility. How should a wife be used? And we don't want to deal with that. And I saw brother, Chief Asa, and his issue was basically, they did a live the other day. It was very moving. But I think a question came up from a sister that was asking, she was kind of, asking a question where some of the challenges she was dealing with. I don't want to go into too much about it. But Chief Asa literally said, sister, you're still viable as a woman, but what use can you give to the man? And we don't want to have those conversations. We don't want to have those tough conversations because we're still living in Disneyland when it comes to relationships.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Our mentality is still very fairy tale and it's very childish. And we don't want to have learned men and women to guide us in making those decisions and seeing the blind spots that we still have.
Okay.
And when we do get someone that want to correct us, we default to saying we're grown men and I'm a grown man, I'm a grown woman. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And basically what you're saying is I'm gonna be rebellious.
Okay.
And this message is very pertinent because we got to deal with the fact that Israel, we're a bunch of children still playing with a very powerful tool.
Yep.
This is a weapon. This book is a weapon. We know it has been used against us. Now we need to use it for us. It's back in our hands, and it's back under our influence. But we must be under the tutelage of skilled men and women that have applied this book and know how to do it right and know how to execute its righteousness. Go ahead, Doctor.
That's powerful. That's the truth. And so these are some of the areas we need work in. One being spousal choice. We should not be responsible, especially if you're in your 20s, of choosing your spouse. Because you don't, what do you know? What do you even know what a full woman look like? Most of us grew up with just our mothers, and she was struggling, not in a natural state of being. Just truth. She wasn't in a natural state of being. She was working hard. She was trying to pay bills. A lot of times she was probably stressed and bitter and angry because she had to do all this just to survive and take care of her child. So you've never seen a woman in her natural state of being serving her husband as the father, which we're going to see, created her to do. Y'all follow me?
Okay.
For some, you see your father, same thing, struggling, trying to make ends meet. Probably got abused mentally by women because he was just trying to find happiness in this cold world. Therefore, you've never seen a man in a righteous state of being. I'm talking about Yah state. I'm just not talking about the world. I'm talking about Yah state of being, of rulership in his house. To be called the Adon in your house means you're called the master. I mean, ain't gonna be no biting back. Everything that moves in that house is yours and is in full submission. You understand? And most of us have not seen that. Not most of all of us. Okay? And so another thing was career choice. A lot of the time when you read through scripture, whatever career the father was doing, he passed down to his son. You know what I'm saying? Or he molded him to be self-sufficient. Most of us are taught what? Go to school, get a job. And the back end of that, you're going to have to use your job to pay for them loans. Because this school system was not built for us to make it. You see what they're doing? When you look at the Caucasians, they're sending their children in all their institutions. I was just talking to somebody, a brother, about this the other day. When you look at the Arabs, they have their own school system. They have their own stores. Okay. And they all send their people over there. Chinese is executed perfectly. They do school all year round, maybe 2 months out of the year, maybe even less than that. They actually have a break. And they right back to school teaching them their education, teaching them their history. When it comes to us, who we getting sent to? Caucasian school. And so what you'll find when you understand that getting molded into the likeness, we literally getting molded into the likeness of our enemy. Therefore, you have people who say we are equal. We're trying to fight for equality. Well, we didn't even come from the same place. Y'all follow me? So even our career choices should not be of our own. It should be something your father sees in you that you will fit well in. Does that make sense? Because most of it, I can speak for myself. I got a whole degree in criminal justice. Ain't used an inch of that yet. Because I wanted to make my own choice. And look at the result of that. And so even that itself has failed us. And so a lot of us, we end up taking a job or position that's just going to help us make it. Not actually strive and create generational wealth. Y'all follow me? Next one is financial choices. Then we talked about this 2 weeks ago. One of the artists from Power, named Rodney. He's an actor and he's an artist. His father, who's a Nigerian, by the way, never let him touch a full check till he got to a certain age. And the first check he actually touched went towards a house not only for his mama, but for himself. What he would do is he would give his father the check, and his father only gave him like 25% and put the rest away. And what he was teaching him was how to manage money. Most of us do not know how to manage money at all. Some of us see thousands and thousands of dollars and ain't got nothing to show for it besides clothes, maybe, which ain't worth nothing. And so you see the ripple effect of when we keep trying to do things on our own. As a people, we fail trying to be individuals. But as a people in oneness, we thrive above every nation on this earth.
Oh, hallelujah.
Think about it. Just imagine if we say, forget all those jobs, forget every store they own, and we just work it out. Man, this whole world would be in shambles. Because we are the power of this earth. We are the Adonim of this earth. Y'all follow me?
Okay.
We make this earth for what it is through the power of our Father in Hamashiach. Y'all see? This is why they're trying so hard to keep us in mental bondage, because they know once we let them chains off and put on the yoke of Mashiach, it's over. Game over. Game over. And so we have to stop with this individualism thing, man. We have to stop, because all it does is us fight against each other and serve them more. So brothers got to get in line, sisters got to get in line, children got to get in line, in that specific order. In that specific order. Y'all follow me? Give me Hosea 5:15. It just came to me. Hosea 5:15. That's Hosea, y'all. Hosea 5:15. What you got for me?
The book of Hosea 5:15. I will go and return to my place.
Start at 14 for me.
Okay. For I will be unto Ephraim as a lion, and as a young lion to the house of Judah. I, even I, will tear and go away. I will take away, and none shall rescue him.
So the father say, okay, y'all don't want to listen to me? Y'all don't want to get older? I'm going to leave y'all hanging in. Y'all figure it out yourself. Y'all want to be individuals? You want to split into two kingdoms, the northern kingdom and southern kingdom? Okay, then let's see how it works, y'all being individuals and doing things on your own. Come on.
I will go and return to my place.
So the father, I'm going to return to my place. Come on.
Till they acknowledge their offense.
And so till we acknowledge where we are in error as a nation. I ain't gonna lie, I hate when people say, and I really mean when I say this, I hate when people say, if this is a group thing, well, I did this. So what? Did the group do it? Did your brothers be successful in it too? No, so you didn't do anything. And this is the thought we got to keep having as a people. Because remember, we're supposed to think with a single eye. Meaning we're supposed to have our focus on one mind, which the one mind is the Father. The Father is not dealing with us individuals. So you could be prospering all you want by yourself, but you still fail because your people have failed. The Father's waiting for us as a nation to come back to Him. As one body. As one nation. As one tribe, really.
Okay.
Keep going.
Can I read from the top again?
Yeah.
Okay. I will go and return to my place till they acknowledge their offense and seek my face. In their affliction, they will seek me early.
And they what?
In their affliction, they will seek me early.
In their affliction, they will seek me early. So when people talk about this 400 years, it's up, which was last week. Which was last week according to the books. I think the Father has answered your question. He ain't coming back till you niggas get in line. That's what you gotta call it. That's what it is. We ain't acting like Hebrew. We ain't acting like the seed of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. We acting like straight niggas. Niggas is individuals. That's what we acting like. People who want to do things on their own. Think like they think for themselves. That's what we're acting like. And so he said, read that one more time for me.
I will go and return to my place.
So he chilling.
till they acknowledge their offense.
Until we acknowledge where we in error at and get back in line. Come on.
And seek my face.
And seek his face.
In their affliction.
In their what?
In their affliction. They will seek me early.
We'll seek him early. And I'm telling y'all, it's not going to take until our faces is on the ground, till he really see that we want him. Till he hear that same cry or even greater as he heard in Mizraim. Why do you think he always referring back to Mizraim? That's probably the worst captivity we ever been in. The worst. Mentally, and I ain't just talking about physically, I'm talking mentally and physically. You think the pyramids got built by themselves? We were laboring day and night. And so until he hear that type of cry, he ain't hearing none of us, man. He may work with us individually through visions and show us things, but as a nation, uplifted, nah, he chilling. He giving us breadcrumbs. This is okay. They did this a little bit. I'm gonna give him a little bit of that. Just like a child, right? When you trying to teach something to a child, you don't give them the whole thing. You give them a piece till they actually figure out what you need them to do next. So sisters, you want to ask, why ain't no good men in the world? Are you taking the cookie crumb that the Father's leaving that you need to get yourself together? Brothers, you asking why ain't no good women in the world? Are you taking the cookie crumb that the Father's telling you that you need to be a man first? We got to stop trying to lean and point the finger at everybody else. And start pointing at ourselves and saying, I need to get me together first. And that's the problem. A lot of us rush in the situation where we ain't all the way together yet. That's just the truth. So let's get to it. Genesis 2. Genesis 2, 1-4. Right? And so, that's just a result of us doing a spousal choice, career choice, financial choice, what we think a man or woman is, or how we need to raise our children. It has failed us leaning onto our own understanding. To the fact now they're teaching homosexuality in the schools because we couldn't rise up to the occasion and teach our children ourselves. That's what happens when you lean onto your enemy. They do the job for you, and a lot of times it's in a way you don't like. Or your child is sick, now you want to take them to your enemy for medicine, rather than you understanding the Creator and what He put in place for you to heal. Come on. We're going to start at 4.
The book of Bereshit, chapter 2, verse 4. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth, when they were created, in the day that the Adonai Elohim made the Eretz and the Shemaims. And every plant of the field before it was in the Eretz, and every herb of the field before it grew. For the Adonai Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the Eretz, and there was not a man to till the ground.
So now, what we actually are identifying from Genesis 1 to this point is the Father has created a master plan. He has formulated this blueprint, right, that He has for the earth, right, for His element. He has created this plan. And so we have to understand the proper management He has set in place to run this piece of His kingdom. You get what I'm saying? And so the ending part was not by no mistake. There was not a man to till it. So He's identifying that He needs a representative of His kingdom to run this area of His kingdom. Y'all follow me? And so we see that this actually is a calling. There's a calling being made that there needs to be somebody who is not only shaping in the likeness of the Father, but thinks like Him, moves like Him. And not only is that, but He's in the image of Him. So, how's He gonna create a good looking man? So, I mean, we all don't want ugly children, right? He wants us to be beautiful inside and out, right? He said we was the salt of the earth, right? What does that mean, to be salt of the earth? Anybody? What does it mean to be salt of the earth?
Giving him his flavor.
Giving Him the flavor. And that's what your seed is. Your seed is your flavor. And so we see He's creating this plan for His flavor and His likeness, who thinks like Him, who runs His business like Him, to take care of His possessions. Let's keep reading.
But there went up a mist from the Eretz, and watered the whole face of the ground.
And did what?
And watered the whole face of the ground.
Come on.
And Adonai Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life.
The breath of life. And so now we see, right? He said, we're in verse 6, right? But there went up a mist. What is mist? What is a mist? We talked about this. What does the mist represent? Moisture, right? Represents what also? What else does it represent? Spirit. So now, the spirit. Now, I want y'all to put in this context of a man and woman. I'm not saying this is fatherhood, but just taking it in the context of a man and woman together. A man, when he's inserting into a woman, ejaculating, he's putting what into the woman?
Spirit.
His spirit. The father put his spirit into the ground. And from the ground, he did what?
And Adonai formed man of the dust of the ground.
And so what does the ground represent?
Woman, earth.
Earth, womb, soil. And so we see the parallel connection of a man and a woman. Man bearing the seed, the woman carrying the soil. You cannot have one without the other. But in that definite format, there is always somebody overseeing the soil and the seed. Y'all follow me?
Yes, sir.
I gotta say that again. You need soil to plant the seed, but both parties need an overseer. There was not a man to till the ground. What does tilling mean? Preparing. And so in terms of us in modern, the preparing would be courting.
I get it.
Y'all follow me? The preparing will be you courting a woman, preparing her to bear your seed to bring forth into the world. So now you can apply the first commandment. Be fruitful and what?
Multiply.
It's not just talking about physical seed either. She's there to multiply the assets in your kingdom. This is why we have to be careful who we choose, which should not be our responsibility, as a spouse. She has to be able to be fit and prepared right for what you need her to be prepared for. And so as a man, if you do not have that preparedness plan for her, therefore, like the father said, your house shall fall. Because now you've built your house on sand and not a rock. All plays into one.
Let me add to that.
Mm-hmm.
What we're seeing is, we see how Yah established everything in order from the earth all the way up to the tree bearing fruit.
Mm-hmm.
And we're seeing, and remember we did a study probably about 2 months back on about Yah's return on his investment. And we basically studied how.
I know where you're going with that one.
So we studied how Yah doesn't do anything in vain. That anything he invests in, he expects a return on his investment. He is a producer. He is a creator. He is a purposeful being.
Mm-hmm.
He does things with purpose and intent. So we're not to be in this earth meandering along, not having any purpose. If we look at what we've been basically deduced to, is to become a purposeless consumer. All we do is consume as a people. Our whole mind is fixated on consuming. Never building, never creating, never really making. Producing. The most we ever get creative in is in our music and in our entertainment. That's the best you will see us really show our capabilities. But as far as our outlets, as far as land cultivation, building of civilization, we have been deduced to being nothing but a means to an end. We are built into the economy to be consumers. And so we see that Adam was called to till the ground. God says, I'm not going to just sit here and create this thing without a purpose.
And so I want to add, I want you to finish, but so he said he was called, meaning he had to speak. John 1:1.
Okay.
In the beginning was the Word. And the Word was with Elohim. And the Word was Elohim.
So even his word is the vessel in which creation came about. His word is also the seed. It's the seed that germinates and brings forth and cultivates life in us.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't even get into the real deep mysteries of that. But we must understand that we have been called to be functional beings.
Okay.
If we are like that tree, remember we went over, we talked about the fig tree that didn't produce, didn't yield any fruit, and it was cursed. That's how you know you cursed, when you can't produce anything. That is the primary indication of being a cursed people, when you cannot produce anything to humanity.
Mm-hmm.
And we must realize that we are vain. That's why Yah said, do not take his name in vanity. Do not take him into something unpurposeful. Don't put his name in anything that's not going to yield nor produce.
Right.
Our fathers did it with idolatry. It was vanity to him. But we must understand that each and every one of us sitting in this circle, we have been called to a purpose. We must take this book and make it applicable to our lives, or else we are playing with something very powerful. He said it's better not to what? Have known the truth, what? Than to hurt it and do, and I'm going to paraphrase, do nothing with it. So we must, Adam was called to till the ground, to prepare the ground. So what happened is, so when seed will be planted, it will produce, to be fruitful and multiply. Everything we need to do, from our children, from our wives, is she going to produce for me? Can she produce? And I'm not talking about, I'm not looking at her, whatever, but we have taken, I'm sorry, go ahead, man. I'm about to,
You gotta let the spirit move.
Nah, man, I'm good. Go ahead.
But that's what you see, though, literally. He said there was not a man to till the ground. Therefore, just like when it comes to a kingdom, a king must have a rightful heir. Y'all follow me? He must have a rightful heir to take, not only to think, but to move in the way he has taught him how to think. And so what you see again, we got this, the mist, the water, the spirit. You got the ground, the soil. The spirit had to be planted into the soil, which produced a seed that was sent through. And so when it comes to soil, every soil is not fit for every seed. You got seed that went to certain soil that was put by the wayside. You got seed that was put in the stony ground that tried to produce something but just did not fit in the right place. And then you got seed that was planted in good soil and brought forth fruit. That means in those three options, a man had to be in the right mind to know what type of soil he need to continue to build his plan. And who better else to know what you need than your father? Who better else to raise a man than a man? To guide a man than a man? All throughout Scripture, you saw a righteous man, an anointed man leading men. And if you ever saw a woman, she was there for a time till a man arose in his rightful place, i.e. Esther. When Mordecai was ready, Mordecai was the one who sent her to make a way. Once the way was made, then he rose up to what? To what? What did he rise up to?
Guess you got it. So call it.
Righteous authority. Because not only, and that, guess what? She was a help for him. His own cousin was a help for him so that Israel could be saved and back in righteousness of righteous authority. We have to stop this argument of women is inequality. Nobody's equal. Every man is not even equal. You got a different gift. 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 I got one. You got one. We're not equal. Stop saying that. That is a Gentile state of mind to think that you're equal to a man. A Gentile state of mind. From the genetics to the thought process and to how we physically move, we are not the same. You can't do what I do. I can't do what you do. I can't carry no baby for no 10, 9 months. And I don't want to.
Man, you be a mess, bro. You sit up there with a beard.
I mean, think about it. When you see people
try
in
to
these
pull out your
positions,
pap, you like, right.
I mean, think about it. When you see people in these positions that they're not supposed to be in, it looks unnatural. Think about it. If you saw a woman outside right now with a truck and she lifting all these boxes by herself, you're gonna feel something like, what is she doing that by herself for? Why ain't nobody helping her? She probably look good doing picking up the box, strong and everything, muscle bound type woman. But in your mind, your ruach, your spirit, still telling you she should not be doing that.
Yeah, that's right.
You see in Atlanta, you see brothers walking around with dresses and red wigs on. And you just want to smack the crap out of them. Tell them, get your stuff together, King. Because you ain't supposed to be doing that.
They want to be queens.
They trying to be queens. I mean, it's right there in our faces. There's just some things women should not do and cannot do, and men should not do and cannot do.
Please stop. Bruh.
It's just the truth. We got to stop trying to push our own agenda and accept unnatural things as natural. Period. And so when women can just recognize that you should not be doing that, and men recognize you should not be doing that, you should be doing that, then we'll be on the right path of doing the Father's plan. But until then, we can't sit here and pray to the Father if we're gonna stay in an unnatural state. In the perilous days, right? I'm paraphrasing. Perilous days, we're gonna want unnatural affections.
Let me get this verse right here.
Go ahead.
It's the third epistle of John, chapter 1, verse 11. It says, "Beloved, follow not that which is evil, but that which is good.
Right.
He that doeth good is of Elohim, but he that doeth evil hath not seen Elohim."
Now with that, let me add this. Because people think this evil thing is just, oh, they broke the Shabbat. They ain't keeping the feast days. Evil is anything that is contrary to the word of Yah. So if you sit here talking about you're equal to a man, or a woman usurping authority over a man, or a man being a simp and a beta male, you are doing evil towards Yah's word. That's all evil is contrary to Yah's word. Yes.
I got a precept. Isaiah 5, 20.
Bring it out.
Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil.
I was just thinking.
That put darkness for light and light for darkness.
Right.
That put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes.
Says what?
That are wise in their own eyes.
Oh, I'm equal to a man.
And prudent in their own sight.
I'm a god. That's for men. I'm a god. Then get us out this bondage.
I got one more too. This second epistle of John, chapter 1, verse 9. Whosoever transgresseth and abideth not in the doctrine of Mashiach hath not God. He that abides in the doctrine of Mashiach, he hath both the Father and the Son. if there come any to you and bring not this doctrine, receive him not into your house, neither bid him Godspeed.
Right? I ain't just talking about your physical house. You don't let them enter into this house. You don't let them enter into the house of Israel. And see, we be trying to force people into this truth, man. You can't force nobody to do this. The Father has to call them, like he called Adam to till the ground.
Okay.
Come on.
It says, for he that bids him Godspeed is partaker of his evil deeds. How many of us these days allowing all these people coming into our house with all these spirits, and you wonder why you and your wife having problems and issues in your home? You got your cousin, your uncle drunk, your sister drunk, smoking weed all in your house, and you wonder why your house out of order. You can't be amidst of people that's partakers of evil deeds.
That's true.
Because it's gonna rub off on your family.
That's true. That's even for people in this walk, man. You call yourself a Hebrew? What that mean? What does that mean? You call yourself a Hebrew. Because to me, to be a Hebrew would mean you're living the true life of a Hebrew. According to the beginning.
Okay.
According to the beginning. And we got all these wild doctrines out here. We got some Israelites denouncing and now teaching that the Messiah has a law of himself over the Father's law. He taught the law himself. He said, I write to you no new commandment. I write to you no new commandment. So how does he have his own law now? Anytime he spoke with the authority of the Father. So you telling me, if this is what you're teaching, you're telling me it's okay for your own children to speak out of line and start teaching contrary to what you believe.
Whoa there, Aki.
Woo-wee. That's what we doing now. Oh, if it's okay for you to do that, I mean your children ain't gotta listen to you. They can make their own choices. That's what that's the message you really pushing when you say something like that. You telling me that Yehoshua disobeyed the Father and taught his own doctrine. Let me get back to topic. Let's get back. Let's go to Genesis 2. Let's start at 4 again. You good.
Genesis chapter 2 verse 4.
Uh-huh.
These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created. In the day that the Adonai Elohim made earth and the heavens, and every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For the Adonai Elohim had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground.
And that's interesting too. Why didn't he cause it to rain upon the earth?
Good question, man.
Think about it. A garden is not going to make it or take care of itself, is it? You need somebody created to oversee and nurture it.
Because that was Adam's job.
That was his job. So now we really are saying that he had created this master plan for his son to go forth and perfect it. Y'all follow me?
Yeah. Look at it. Adam used to go get the things from the Father and bring it to the earth to give to that seed. He used to go get the water. You know what we do? We get what? The things that we need to nourish the plant so to make sure that it's growing the way it's supposed to grow.
Right. Right. You got to go to the store to get something.
Right.
You got to go to Lowe's or Walmart to get the stuff, right? Adam went straight to the source.
Facts.
He didn't go to no third party. He went straight to the source. And so when you see that, that tells us, men of the Most High, we got to stop trying to go to the third party. We have to stop trying to go to the enemy. And let's go right to the source who created it. Y'all follow me? Let's keep reading.
But there went up a mist from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground.
Right.
And that Adonai Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And man became a living soul.
And so we see the consummation that's going on. Right? We see the consummation. Right? The Father took himself. He took a piece of himself and put it into the soil. He put it into the earth, the eretz. He planted himself into the ground. And as he did that, he got his investment back, which was his seed that was brought forth, and became himself a living being, a living soul. Y'all follow me? And so what women have to understand is you are the carrier of that man's investment. Y'all follow me?
Okay.
The woman have to, and that does not mean you're lower than or you're worthless. You have a very important role because men can't carry his own seed.
Right.
You are there to nurture. You are there to feed this child the very ingredients he needs to be cooked and nourished into his father's likeness. Are y'all following me?
Okay.
And so, even in our own community, we have this thing of women thinking that the child is theirs. And when a man wants his own child, guess who she going to? Who's she going to, Yaakov?
The court system.
Going to the court system. And that's the mindset we got. Because we can't stay in order, the woman have to now go to the enemy of her man.
Go to the heat.
Just to usurp authority over here. And the crazy thing about it, I'm telling you, you go into Africa and go into their culture. A woman will be a fool to think she about to walk off with that man's seed. A whole village at her neck. Whole village at her neck. Because we know by nature that is that man's seed. That is his fruit. You are there to help him nourish his fruit. Just like we are here to nourish Yah's fruit, which is the earth. The woman is here to nourish this fruit of that man. Again, but you have to make sure you have the right soil. Right? Same for the woman who got a head, an elder, or a father. He has to make sure that he has found the right husbandman for you. Because this man has to be able to feed you. He has to be able to nourish you and create you in the likeness of the Father. He has to be able to be stable enough to not only take care of you in that such fashion, but that seed. And so we understand, we all heard it that women mature faster than men. It's the truth.
Right.
So why do you think it's okay for you to choose a man who may be unnurtured or not nurtured enough and have seed by him? And so therefore you're putting yourself in a position to unnaturally become the authority. Because now you have to nurture not only that child but that man. This is why we have to go and take the right protocols and steps. You're not going to know if you're ready. The person who is nourishing you is going to know if you're ready. So we try to make our own choice and do things on our own has failed us.
Mm-hmm.
Tremendous.
You don't know if you're ready to have a man or woman yet. You don't. Therefore, as those who have lords, husbands, fathers, or elders over you, you have to be willing to submit to who the Father has put over you so you can get the right nourishment. Everybody has to go through a process, including men. Men got this thing that they ain't got to answer nobody. You do. Every man has to answer to somebody. And if you think you don't, take your butt to Egyptology, man. Take your butt to Christianity. I wouldn't even suggest you go to Muslims. Because they got some type of discipline over there in order.
They beat their wives.
Right. I'm going to say, oh, man.
We got some people that do too.
Yeah, we got some Hebrews that do too, unfortunately. I see, he said it first. Anyway. But that's the truth. Every man must submit to somebody. Every woman, you're going to submit to a man if you want righteous order and covering. You ain't about to sit here and tell me that you deserve a man, but think you ain't got to submit.
That's called a Freudian slip.
You ain't think you about. You think that's just like me saying, "Hey, yo, let me stay in your house." and think I gotta pay you no bill.
Right.
Oh, you're gonna pay what's due. This protection don't come free.
It's covering.
This protection don't come free. This covering don't come free. Because guess what? We all were bought with a price.
Okay.
And so we can go even deeper when we go into how did a man get a virgin? She was bought with a price.
Who paid that price?
The man. Therefore, he needs a return on his investment. Period. He needs a return on his investment.
Turn.
Just like the father gave you this house, this earth. Oh, he needs a return on his investment.
That's right. That's right. You don't hear that.
He said, those who try to come by any other way is a robber and a thief.
As a robber and a thief. You want to be rebellious, you are a worker of witchcraft. You try to be equal to a man, you are a Jezebel.
You're a man who capitulates and break down before a woman, you consider an Ahab.
You want to be the seed of Abram, you better get some loins, brothers.
So
So you better get some strong Hebraic loins.
Let the man know.
Because he stood his ground. And we went into the writings. He had so much power, he told his son, she ain't bowing her head to me. She don't know who I am. Oh, yeah, go pick up that nail right there, a little too loose. Go get a new nail.
A lot of.
And guess what? And now we can use that story of was it Ishmael, right? We can use that story, right? Ishmael was not raised by his father, but he was, because that woman nourished him into her husband tradition and culture. Just like that, that's the same thing a wife is supposed to. You're not supposed to nourish your child into what you think, because you ain't there to think for yourself. You're there to think for your husband and what he needs. Therefore, you need to be putting that same fruit of your husband into his father. And so when Abraham came to Ishmael, trying to seek him out after all them years, and then his wife, right? Ishmael's wife at the time, I can't remember the story all the way, but pretty much she didn't even recognize who Abraham was. Didn't even have respect, really didn't even pay him no mind. Right? Didn't even pay him no mind. And so pretty much, Abram told her in a parable, and I'm paraphrasing, he told her in a parable, she didn't even realize he pretty much told her to tell him to do away with her. Because as soon as she told him the parable, it snapped into Ishmael's head. Oh yeah, baby, this ain't gonna work out. You gonna have to go ahead.
right.
You gonna have to go ahead. And so then years later, Abraham comes back. He has a new wife. Not only did he have a new wife, but this wife is respecting him as the master of her husband's house. Call him Adoni.
She ran.
With respect, Abraham put a big smile on his face, because he knew that his son followed his instructions. And so, man, if you're not following a man's instructions, then who are you following?
The bottom line is, I know not the bottom line of the lesson, but where the train of thought you're at. You're going to obey something. Someone, something. We are all the way from Father Adam. We have been institutionalized into service and to till and to produce and to yield. You're going to serve something. There's not one thing in this earth we're nowhere in this earth we want to serve our jobs, our occupations, our careers, no matter what it is. But what Yah's people was called to was to serve as a royal priesthood. We were to be the direct line and chain of command from the rest of the nations to the Most High. We have a high calling in HaMashiach.
Okay.
And we are called to serve. We are called to serve and minister and delegate the ways of the Most High. And the only reason we're under servitude is because we abrogated that right. We gave that right up. to serve the heathen. I mean, to serve the heathen's deities, their laws, their doctrine. Therefore, we made to serve them in principle. And so, service is something you're going to do. So you might as well get over it. You might as well get it out of your head that there's a way around it. Because you find yourself in rebellion. Because, hey, even down to sin, he said, he who sins is a what? A servant of sin. You're going to serve something. Go ahead,
Let's keep reading. Here, verse 7.
And the Adonai Elohim formed man of the dust of the ground and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul. And the Adonai Elohim planted a garden eastward in Eden, and there he put the man whom he had formed.
So now we see Adam has now been given what? His assignment. And that's the thing we always see. Like, what did Elder just do with Zekiah? He's sending him on an assignment. Man has always instructed man on the way they should go by way of Elohim. And so we have to trust in that thing, man. And this is even for younger brothers, you know, who may be seeking eldership or leadership. If you in that time, unfortunately, because we weren't groomed into who our elders is, we didn't grow up seeing who our elders and leadership was. And in some cases, now we have to find it. And so you have to test the spirit by the spirit. Because once you're in that covenant of eldership, you have said you have submitted yourself in all things by way of what that elder says. And so with that, when you establish that covenant, that means you trust in your whole mind, heart, and soul that this man is going to lead you into the right way. And if you have any ounce of distrust, that you shouldn't even be in covenant. Are y'all following? And this is why Abraham sent I can't think of his name. Huh?
I'm not a servant that went to go get out.
Abraham sent his nephew. Lot. Yes. This is why he had to send him on his way. Because, okay, I'm trying to teach you. First of all, I'm giving you a portion of my stuff. And I'm trying to teach you how to run this thing. But because you have no type of control over your side, and because you think you got some type of say so, rather we gonna make amends like brothers. You go your way, I'm gonna go my way. I got you over here, but you may need to just go figure it out yourself because you didn't want to listen to my authority. And sometimes as elders, you got to do that. Brother don't want to listen. Okay, well, you go find them by yourself. Don't ask me no more. You go see yourself. Same thing. Sometimes when it comes to a husband and a wife, sometimes husband you gotta let your wife go through it. Or she having issues, you don't want to submit. Okay, then let her be alone for a little bit. Let her figure out herself.
Let me get Proverbs chapter 5, verse 22. It says, his own iniquities shall take the wicked himself, and he shall be holden with the cords of his sins. He shall die without instruction, and in the greatness of his folly he shall go astray.
What does that mean to God?
When everything what he was saying.
You gotta figure out yourself. And you don't want to have that covering removed from you. It's just like if it's cold outside, you got that one good blanket. As soon as that boy took it on,
That wind hit.
ooh, whoa! I didn't feel that before.
Y'all blow that wind, that blanket.
Got all types of goosebumps.
Right.
Oh my gosh! Where's that? Where you put over here? Where's that coming?
Bucket now.
Right. Right. But that's how it is. You don't want to listen to your covering. You don't want to listen to your master. Okay, we want to go ahead and slip that cover right off, real slow for you. He don't do it fast because he wants you to still kind of feel it, at least a little bit. But as soon as you want to make that big mistake,
have mercy.
Woo!
Have mercy.
Or you gonna feel that cold shoulder. You gonna feel that cold shoulder. And so this is the price of submitting. You get a covering. You're paying what's due. You want to pay for protection or covering? You have to pay for it. Just like when you go to a police station, when you go to get protection, you gotta sign a paper. Don't you? You gotta sign a paper for protection.
You in agreement that these people are going to protect you under the ordinances that you do this, this, and that. Right?
Okay.
Everything has a price on it, even your life. From the man, woman, and child. Let's keep going.
I believe we're at verse 10.
Yeah.
And a river went out of Eden. No, we're actually, I'm
At
not,
9.
yes, it was actually at 9. And out of the ground made Adonai Elohim to grow every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food. The tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of knowledge of good and evil. And the river went out of Eden to water the garden.
Right.
And from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads.
And so what you're going to see actually as we going through this is the Father is pretty much showing and teaching Adam all that he's going to govern and have dominion over. Y'all follow me?
Mm-hmm.
He's teaching him and showing him all that he has to govern and have dominion over. And so what you'll find out as we continue to read is he's going to actually then give him dominion and show him, he's giving him instruction on how to have that dominion. And so let's keep reading. So we was at verse 10, right? And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 heads. The name of the first is Pison. That is it which compasseth the whole land of Havilah, which there is gold, and the gold of that land is good, and there is Delium and the onyx stone, and the name of the second river is Gihon. The same is it that compassed the whole land of Ethiopia, and the name of the third river is Hiddekel. That is it which goeth toward the east of Assyria, and the fourth river is Euphrates. And Adonai took the man. Now you see this, right? Now you see it. Now you remember he said in verse 8. That's where he said he took the man. So now he's reiterating here in verse 15. Now he's going to command him on what to do. And so it said, and Yahweh took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to what? Dress it, right? That means to fasten it, instruct it, and to keep it. And what does that mean? What does that mean? That he was going to have rulership and dominion over this part of the house. Y'all follow me?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He was supposed to have dominion over this part of the house. To not only dress it, mean instruct it, tell each vessel within this hub what to do, but he was to make sure that it stayed in line. You feel me? And so when you go out the natural order of this thing, whether that be by way of man or woman, you are literally disrupting the instructions of Yah. You are literally you're disrupting the instructions of Yah. If a man is supposed to run and rule his house and you not allowing him to do that, you are becoming a stumbling block. Man, if you don't have instruction on how to lead your house and you're leaning on your woman to do that, you are literally a stumbling block. Not only to your house, but that woman.
You're frustrated. She's looking for your guidance. She's looking for your ability to instruct and to guide her. And if you don't have that, then you're forcing her to take matters in her own hands.
And truth be told, some brothers probably didn't have a Proverbs 31 and turned her into a Jezebel.
Facts.
Seriously. Because the man ain't have no guidance in his life.
Right.
He didn't know how to lead a woman. He didn't know how to instruct her on how to build his house. But he leaned on her, but still want to play the superior as Adam. And she looked at him like, what you doing?
Bro, I'm not trying to hear you, bro.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Right.
You sit here playing Xbox. What you sit here playing Xbox, you gonna tell me what I need to be doing. I'm doing such and such and such. and you just sitting here reading all day and playing the game, but want to tell me how things need to be ran when you can't even run yourself.
Let me give you this one. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Adonai with all thy heart, and lean not into thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths.
Mm-hmm.
Be not wise in thine own eyes, and fear the Adonai, and depart from evil.
Mm-hmm. And so, this is exactly why we have to get in order of the Mashiach, because this was a specific assignment given to Adam to not only instruct but also to protect and make things stay in balance. And remember, Proverbs 11:1 says what? A false balance, something that appears to be a balance but not really a balance, is what? An abomination. It's an abomination. Therefore, any defiled thing cannot produce the right fruit. And therefore, you have the birth of doctrines. You have the birth of these doctrines. Because you have left the righteous and family structure, you have the birth of these doctrines. Okay?
Okay.
Alright, let's keep reading. We was at verse 15.
And Adonai Elohim took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and to keep it. And Adonai Elohim commanded the man, saying...
He did what?
Commanded the man,
Did Adam command himself?
Commanded the man and saying...
Who commanded him?
Elohim.
Elohim commanded him. So we're showing this higher power commanding the lower vessel. Right? Commanding the lower vessel to do such and such. Come on.
Saying, of every tree of the garden, thou mayest freely eat.
So now he's telling him, in these different vessels that you have, this is what this vessel can do or cannot do. Come on.
But of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, thou shalt not eat of it.
And that's the balance. This is the same balance or wager he gave Moshe to give to Israel. If you do such and such, you shall be blessed. If you don't do this, you shall be cursed. He shows us right here what happens when you want to go your own way.
And this is the bipolarism of the community. We know good. We still won't do it. We know what's right or wrong to do.
Right.
You see? And this is confusion.
Right.
This typifies confusion. And some people even try to tell you we got to bring balance between yin and yang. What does Yah say? Yah said, in him there is no darkness. There is no variance of turning.
Okay.
Ain't no darkness in the Most High.
What happens when you put a light in the dark room?
Lights it up. It eschews darkness. It gets rid of it.
Can't coexist.
But what man has done, and even throwing off we look at we see the tree of good and evil working in what they call the Willie Lynch letter. We see the tree of good and evil working in the Willie Lynch letter. Because what is it doing? It's perverting the standard and the function of the man and the woman. The woman and the child. Okay. It's putting women in a position not only they're not meant to be in, but in a position they don't even want to be in naturally.
Okay.
And now men have adapted to being children to their women. And not taking on their responsibilities as heads and as men. Okay. Because we haven't been trained to. Most of us, a lot of us have been reared by our mothers. And those who haven't have been, and those who may have fathers in their home, they're not in order with the Most High. And so we're seeing this knowledge of good and evil constantly working in us. And then that's where we develop our own righteousness. Our self-righteousness.
Okay.
So we must get back to the standard that the Most High has basically established with us and let us know that we have to get back under divine patriarchy.
Yeah.
We must get back in order. And it's going to be a challenge for men. There's going to have to be a generation that's going to be willing to suffer.
Not even suffer. It has to be men, young men, this generation who's willing to submit.
Cain, better. Cain.
Submit. You're going to suffer whether you submitting or not.
Cain.
But you got to be willing to submit, because there is a reward for submission. It really is. That's why he tell you, he that endures shall be saved. What are you enduring? If you ain't submitting, then what are you actually enduring? Life? But you can't pay your water bill, what are you enduring? You're enduring the hardship of what it is to submit to your master. And so we commend women who are trying to do that. Because you're now enduring the hardship of being peeled from this world, who told you were independent, who told you were God, and told you ain't got to listen to a man. It's perfect why he said women shall be saved through what? Childbirth. Now you're giving back a man his property. Right? We gotta, it all leads back to the Father. It all leads back to the Father. Mm-hmm. But you know the funny thing about us reading to this point, we in verse what, 16? Mm-hmm. Have Eve shown up yet?
Not yet.
Who are you talking to the whole time?
The man.
Adam.
Brother, he's talking to y'all the whole time. He's talking to us the whole time. You better not eat from that tree. You are instructed to dress this, instruct this, and cover this, and have dominion over. And so now we're going to see the transformation of what's going on. And you see, Yah told Adam this. Did he ever tell Eve?
No.
So then who was Eve supposed to get that instruction from?
Adam.
And see, this is what our sisters got to understand. The man is your direct connect to the Father. Just like Mashiach is our direct connect to the Father. You cannot get to the Father by way of yourself. It ain't never been like that. It ain't going to never be like that. Your way and key to the Father is your master. Your husband. Right?
I know.
When you go to the word husband, what's the word for husband? No, it is master. Ish. Ish. Which also leads to husbandman. Husbandman leads to what? Husbandry. Meaning somebody who is having dominion over something. When you look at the word, the Hebrew word, Ab, that's a real way how to say father, is Ab. Right? What's the two letters? Aleph and Bet. When you put them, what's the meaning of Aleph? It means head. Oxtail, leader. No, oxtail, oxhead. 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 Right? And then you got, so Aleph, let's say Aleph, leadership, head. Bait. By, what is that? House. When you put those two together, you have what?
Head of the house.
Head of the house. This is why Hebrew is so beautiful. Give you a direct connection to the order of the house. And so when you go to the Hebrew word Isha, what is the root of it? Husband, Ish. Eve was taken from man. She's a part of man. The root of a woman is man. Woman. You are not of your own. You are of your husband. You are there. You are a part of him. He ain't a part of you. You are a part of him. Y'all follow me?
First Timothy chapter 2, verse 11. It says, "Let the woman learn in silence without subjection, but I suffer not a woman to teach nor to assert authority over the man, but to be in silence. For Adam was first born, then Eve."
What's your take on that?
The man is supposed to lead the woman. The woman have to be in subjection to the man. Have to. It's been like that since the very beginning.
But guess what? That is very true. But the man has to be in subjection to who for her to do that?
Most high.
Christ.
She
You had a question.
Yes.
Oh, well, I was going to ask, what if she not married? Then who do you...
That,
Her husband, her father.
that's why we get back to the order, because back then, in the beginning, we ain't talking about this today. This today is an untoward generation. In the beginning, if a woman did not have a husband, meaning she was a virgin, her head was her father. If she didn't have a father, her head was the eldership. There's no way possible you're going to find anybody without having headship.
Okay. And if I can elaborate on that. This is, and again, that's what I was saying about the Willie Lynch letter, is that intent, and some people say it's an urban myth of the whole letter or whatever, but needless is whatever it is, whether it's some type of archetype or whatever you want to call it, at the end of the day, we see it as working in the black community. And what we see is the lack of headship in the black community, in the so-called black community, where our women are uncovered. They're literally uncovered.
Mm-hmm.
That means protection, provision. All of that is gone from them. So they are literally exposed. They are exposed by the elements and the political climate of this country.
Mm-hmm.
But they actually are under a different headship, a corrupted headship that don't care for them. And so why we have to return back to the Hebraic standards of life and family is so that our women will fall back under a covering, that they'll never be without a covering. So when they're passed on from another man's house, they automatically, the daughters will make sure they're transferred over to a house that is productive, that can protect, that can give provision. No man would do that and give his daughter freely to another house if he knows that man is not protected. But what are we doing every day? They're literally, our sisters are literally being reared up and raised up to literally go into the enemy's environment, and they're made to be trained to go in there unprotected, uncovered.
Okay.
And so does that answer the question?
I just literally saw a post from a Hebrew man that says, "Hey B, I know you can pay all the bills and take care of everything,
Like AB,
and
like
you got your
female
own
dog,
stuff."
or you just said AB?
No, it was the B, like the actual B word.
Uh-huh.
So it started off with, "Hey B, I know you can do this. You can provide for yourself, and you can take care of everything. But B, can you listen sometimes?" The post was disturbing in itself. But then all the women underneath were like, I'm that B, it's me, I'm that. I'm like, what in the heck? It's going to take a lot of work for us to get out of that mindset.
Yes.
That was a Hebrew.
Of course.
So, from what you've heard so far, because we got some sisters watching, what is your intake on this message?
Besides naturally understanding that we are completely out of order, what I take is that, at this point, I would say personally, for my own children, the importance of getting them to understand what they should do before they get into a position to where it's too late. Because if they're not being taught that they should be given a husband or given a wife, then they do it on their own. They come in the same cycle that we've been trapped in. And really, those of us who've already made the mistake of living our own life, we can only depend on teaching our children to go a different route. And for little young men to understand that they're going to be husbands and how important it is to find a wife that's going to be able to help them. For our daughters, teaching them that they're not just here to be that B. They're here to help their husbands, and the importance of being a good wife, because we it's so the society makes it to where we really don't need a man unless we just want to have sex and make babies out of convenience. I mean, even now you can go to a store and buy sperm. I mean, they made it to where you don't have to have a man. So I'm taking it as just understanding the role of a wife and the role of a mother, or just being in the likeness of your husband, which is strange in these days and age because you're so taught to be independent, and just going about mentally being prepared to be a true servant in complete order that it's supposed to be.
Okay. Hallelujah. And that's what it's about. It's us getting back in order, man. But let's continue on. I know we running out of time, so let's continue. And that was a powerful statement, by the way, because it is hard for our sisters, man. It really is. Me and him talk about this all the time. Sometimes you just feel bad, you know what I'm saying? They got to go through all that. But at the same time, we do too. You know, it's.
I want to bring out a scripture for the sisters out there that might be listening, that might have a husband that ain't in the word, you know, what they supposed to do based upon scripture. I use 1 Peter chapter 3. It says, likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husbands, that if any obey not the word, they also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives. And then I skip down to verse 9. It says, meaning, I'm going to go to 8. Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another, loving as brethren. Be pitiful, but be courteous, not rendering evil for evil or railing for railing, but contrariwise blessings, knowing that ye are thereunto called, that ye shall inherit a blessing. So what that means is, when your husband may be acting out, the woman should be silent and stay and keep true to Torah and follow His word. And when he's calm and he ready to listen, and you go and you reconcile, you know, but don't meet him at his level, railing for railing, yelling at he yelling, you yelling louder. You know, don't do that. Have a meekness and humbleness about yourself, and then it'll rub off on him.
That's actually perfect. Can you speak to that? Because I know you've had conversations as far as like, and I think it's something good to talk about because, like you said, railing for railing, it doesn't get nowhere, right?
I should have read this one too.
Let me ask this question real quick. Okay.
And so, to you hearing that, and then you know with the advice you've been given before, what do you think on that?
I think that's a really great way to go about it, because then when you're both angry, it becomes a battle who could be the biggest jerk, and then you really fall. Then it pulls ugliness out of you, or if you could pull the ugliness out of your husband, and then everybody's in flesh. Hashatan is getting exactly what he wants, and what me and my sister friends try to concentrate on is being in the spirit earlier in the day, so that we're prepared for anything to pop off. Because if anything does happen, we have to be prepared to be able to take a moment, breathe, and concentrate on not being that person, because it's easy for us to snap back really easily, especially if that's what you're used to. But that's not according to the word. So really, when you're arguing with your husband or you in the flesh, you're really not offending him, you're really offending the Most High, because you're talking to the Most High. And in real life, if he was standing in front of you, there's no way you would do that. I mean, we don't talk to our bosses like that. You know what I'm saying? So we got to look at it. It's just respecting, I think.
In a regular conversation we have, right? I asked her a random question one day. Remember what the question was?
You asked me a lot of questions today.
I said, would you what? Would you talk to your Yehoshua that way?
Right.
Would you talk to your Yehoshua in a certain way? And what was your response?
I believe I said no. I said no.
Well, I bring that because she had a pause for a minute. Like, what type of question was that? But that's a question. Like, we all seen, if you was in Christianity, we all used to wear the real wristband. What would Jesus do? Never considering what did that actually mean. You know what I'm saying? And so when you look at
the obedience of him being a son to the Father. And remember when he said, if this cup can pass from me, you know what I'm saying? But he said, but let your will be done. It's the same thing for a husband and a wife. You may not be in total agreement with what that man is doing or how he's doing it. But that's not up for you to decide. Only the Father, I'm telling you, and it's the truth. Only the Father, the Mashiach, can move a man to consider his ways. But if you are obedient, guess who he's going to use so he can see that?
Brother, and the operative word is a man. The operative word is a man. And let's be honest, sisters do not respect a male who's operating outside of his natural function as a man, as headship. Somebody who's going to be able, that she can literally lean on for support. I've been on the side of saying, I made a post the other day that those men who want an independent thinking woman, think about what you're saying. You want a woman that's freely independent of your thinking. You have a two-headed monster.
Yep.
You have a two-headed monster. You have two heads trying to figure out. You're not made to be what they call them, Siamese twins.
Right.
You're not to be that. That's an oddity. That's not natural. In the spirit of Echad, in the spirit of oneness, there's to be unity. There's to be oneness. You know what I mean? And the woman should not feel any kind of way being the reflection of her husband, because she's that gentle part of him.
Mm-hmm.
She's that side of him that she's his glory. When he's not in the presence, how she conducts, how she dresses, how she acts around other men, there's something powerful about a woman that is chaste in conversation and dress that commands respect from men. Would you agree with that, Sister Mina?
Yeah, it's even different in public. When I first started dressing modestly, I felt a little lame a little bit, but the response, I mean, not that I dressed inappropriately before, but the response from men were different. It was, hey, I got a lot of sisters, a lot of open the door, a lot of different kind of respect, because I was respected a little bit differently.
But what does that tell you? That men deep inside, our lust wants that booty neckiness, the booty. That's our lower man. But what we really want is something that nobody can have.
Okay.
Something that's sacred. Something that's set apart. Every man wants that. Every man doesn't know how to get it. He don't want to do the work. He himself don't want to be set apart. Himself don't want to be disciplined. But all of us have that desire to want something that is rare. The value goes, I got you out. The value goes up. So what happens is that we don't realize that the sisters, literally, the minute they are reflecting based on that modest apparel, that man, even that trifling man, is going to look at that sister and be like, he's going to know she's different for a reason, but I'm not going to mess with her because there's more than likely somebody protecting her. She's under a different spirit. She's under a different mindset. You see what I mean? When a woman makes that choice to be set apart, there is something there's an unseen power that comes with it. Just because they make that choice. And she's a reflection of her husband. Her husband's reputation is relying on the way she conducts herself in his absence. Just like when a mother, children go into the public arena, your children are a direct reflection of the rearing of the mother.
Can I read something to add on to that? This is for you. So it's Proverbs 31 and 11. And this is just hitting on what he's saying, that her protection for him helps him in his ministry, right? Or his kingdom. So it says this: the heart of her husband doeth safely trust in her, so that he shall have no need of spoil. Meaning he's not going to need anything. When a man can trust a woman with his heart, and that she actually understands what he needs and why he needs it, and she is in full submission and support of that, he'll have no need for wanting anything. Because he can rely on her. He can rely on her or them to add value to what was purpose for him through the Father.
Yeah, and Cain. And the children, I was going to say, I'm going to let you get to your point now. The children, as I'm pretty sure, especially any sister that's under a new mindset of following this word and following the ways of the Hebrew ideology, I'm sure their children and how they act outside of their presence is very important to them. You see what I mean? Because no matter what, one thing sisters got to realize, brothers don't get the reputation for bad children. It's the woman. Because everybody knows the teacher of the child is the woman. And even if there's not a man present, yes, it's a secondary thought that, well, obviously that child may not have a father, but it doesn't matter. The weight of that child's character is always going to be on the mother. Always, huh?
Didn't your mama teach you?
Didn't your mama teach you, right? And so you think about it. When a woman is saying she's married to her husband, and she's appearing a certain way, that's a direct reflection of the husband. And more than likely, the brother gonna be like, looking at you, sis, you may be married. You see what I'm saying? But you are not one with him. You see, you're not one with him, because I look at you, there's no way in the world I'm looking at you and I get to be able to get all that attention from you.
Right. Right. See, women just think they got intuition. Men do too.
Oh, men do.
Men can sense when a woman ain't happy, or when she's not in the right state of mind. And just like women, the man will tempt you too. Very simple. So how you present yourself is very key.
Yeah.
It's like how if you were married, how you present yourself to your husband in front of your children is key. Because they're gonna take that same mindset and see, if she can get away with that, and she teaching me that, I can do the same thing. Yep.
I wanted to make this point to kind of close what I was saying earlier. What helped me in marriage is I look at the relationship between the Father and the Son of God. Like how Christ could not, do his own will, but he had to follow the will of the Father. And everything, when you look at the whole thing with family in the church and with the elders and councilship and whatnot, everybody has the same obligation in keeping the will of the Father. So, brothers, when you got a sister, you out of line, and you got a wife, she may be out of line. We have to always keep the will of the Father first. And that's why I'm going to read this verse. It says, 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 7, it says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as the weaker vessel, as being heirs. I'm going to stop on weaker vessel. The Mashiach and the Father. The Father is the head. The Son of God is the Son. Christ, he fears the Father. That's why he's obedient. He listens. He does what he says. He keeps his will. So, as well with the house. The wife, she listens to you. She submits to your knowledge and your wisdom. She's supposed to help you do the will of the Father. Okay, and it says, give honor to the wife as the weaker vessels, and as being heirs together of the grapes of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So, and I learned this from you, Elder, and also, my relationship with other people that's in this truth and this walk. I had to learn the power of submission when it comes to being amongst people with wisdom, and to be quiet and to be silent and not speak. A lot of these lessons that he's talking about, the brother's talking about today, Brother Mikael talking about today, doesn't just apply to marriage. It applies to your everyday life, your jobs, how you deal with people on the street, your business adventures. If you don't have the power of submission, you preventing yourself from moving forward, from y'all actually blessing you.
Yes.
So it says, you skip down to verse 11, and this goes to both the man, if you walking in truth, and your woman's not, and the woman, she walking in truth, and the husband's not. This is what you're supposed to do. It says, let him eschew evil and do good, and let him seek peace and ensue it. So that's right after he said the railing for railing, don't be railing for railing, keep your peace. Let Christ fight your battle, because that husband got a headship, and that's Mashiach. And Christ got a headship, that's the Father. And we all sons of the Abba. We got to follow his will. Daughters is daughters of the Father. They have to follow the Father's will. But they also have to follow the orders of their husband. As his headship, and his job is to follow the Mashiach and bring her to the Mashiach and bring the children to the Mashiach, and we all get to the Father. That's what the whole thing about family and the order of the house and the order of the church is about. Same thing.
Okay. And just to add to that, about them being heirs, that's a witness to Genesis 1 and 28. And it says, and Elohim blessed them. And Elohim said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it and have dominion.
Yep.
You see? This is your portion. This is for the women too. That's your portion too. When you are submissive to your husband and the husband is submissive to Mashiach, as that Echad, as that oneness, we are the heirs of the throne. And so if it's an imbalance, you cannot expect for the Father to hear you or even give you anything.
Right.
If you have any oughts against your husband or any oughts against your wife, you cannot expect for the Father to do anything for you, because remember, he said, if you got a gift trying to bring it to the altar, you have not reconciled with that brother or sister, he ain't dealing with you. Okay. Period. And so men have to be in purpose. He has to be in the purpose that Yah has set for him. Y'all follow me? Yes.
Real quick, what's the cod mean again? It means in one to...
On the surface, it means one, the number one.
But
when you go into the depth of it, it means oneness or unity of oneness.
Unity of oneness, okay.
Unity of oneness. And so, men have to be in their already in their purpose before dealing with a woman. Already. Not trying to figure it out. Not going day by day, hopping from job to job. But already in their purpose before dealing with any women. Because she is literally there to add on, not to help you to figure out what you need to do. She's to help add on to the purpose Yah has already given you.
Okay.
Y'all follow me? Let's go to Matthew 4 and 4.
While we go there, and that's why we have so many brothers that are sons to their wives. They're being sons by their wife.
Because they ain't got no leadership.
Because they don't have no leadership to guide them, but as well, they're so out of order, and they're not submitted to authority under man that's submitted under the authority of the Creator. That they don't even have the ability to apply any type of real leadership or what I don't want to say masculinity, but because masculinity is a trait that is cultivated by other men. It must be cultivated by other men. Okay. And masculinity is really it's a characteristic that's there to cultivate and protect the family.
Right.
That's why it's there. Femininity is there to nurture the aspect of the family, to feed and to nurture and to mature.
As wisdom. Remember that wisdom that cried out in the streets looking for men?
Okay.
Here go something that I want to give.
Okay, hold on real quick, God. So the woman is there to to nurture the family and feed it from within. The woman works from the inside. The man deals with the exterior of the family. That's why the woman should be in the home, because she functions well with inside the home. Okay?
She understands.
So when you got your wife out there working, and this is we're coming into something new. So this is no indictment against anybody. But this is why we must be prepared already. As the brother just went over in Genesis, in the beginning, Yah made sure he gave man everything he needed.
Yep.
I'm going to give you your job and your working function as a man. Then I'm going to bring this woman, because she's going to need, because it's not good that you should be alone. You're going to need a helpmeet. You're going to need somebody that's going to be able to nurture that which I would have you do.
Gang.
Huh?
Gang.
So we're coming back to a realization. You cannot have, if you're not working in purpose and destiny already as a man, doing what you're supposed to be doing, then what you're going to do is only frustrate the purpose and the responsibility of the woman.
Okay.
And you're going to have, and she's going to her desire to nurture and to protect her offspring. That's going to kick in, and if you don't make the right decisions, she's going to make the decisions for you, because it's got to get done.
Yep.
It's got to get done. And she will override your supposed authority because you're not operating and you're not functioning as the man.
And understand, when he says that, he's not just talking about life itself, but life according to the law.
Okay.
Life according to the Father's word.
Okay.
Because some women will take that and say, oh, see, this and that. But if the man is functioning in the word, you should have no problem, even in that situation of trying to figure out submitting to his will. Sometimes we like to mix the actions of the world in with the actions of this word. It's two different things. As long as it lines up with the Father, it should be no problem. It should be all balanced, even through your trials together. Okay? So long as, and this is the key for the brother, as long as you're in line with the word, not your own understanding, but the word, that is your protection. That is your witness against anybody who goes against you.
Okay.
Right?
I want to give some. This to show this lesson is very powerful. From the beginning to the end. This is Proverbs, coming from Proverbs chapter 3, starting at verse 19. This is something I want to leave with the men. And just listen to the wording of this. It's real powerful. It says, the Lord by wisdom have founded the earth. By understanding have he established the heavens. By his knowledge, the depths are broken up, and the clouds drop down to dew. Let's talk about it. My son, let not them depart from thine eyes. I'm going to read that again. My son, let them, your family, don't let them depart from thine eyes. Keep sound wisdom and discretion. So shall they, your flock, be life unto thy soul and grace to thy neck. And it says, then shalt thou walk in thy way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. Brothers think that they can just do whatever and be drunkards and run their houses out of order, and they ain't gonna have no, Mashiach ain't finna bring no judgment on them. He gonna bring some judgment on them. He said, then thou shalt walk in thy way safely, and thy foot shall not stumble. When thou liest down, thou shalt not be afraid. Thou shalt lie down and sleep shall be sweet. So when you do what you're supposed to do in righteousness at home, you're gonna have good rest, you're gonna have peace. But best believe if you wicked, she not gonna disturb that rest at night. You ain't gonna be able to sleep. You gonna be thinking about what you did, what you just said, how you done treated your son, how you ain't been doing what you supposed to do as a father. You gonna mess your sleep up.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to leave with the brothers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give me Matthew 4. Y'all quote give me Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. So we see we're laying the foundation from the heavens to the earth of what the Father had naturally put in order. Anything outside of that, we can just call it straight up. It's a false balance. And it's an abomination. No such thing as equality ever. That is something the Gentiles has pushed on our women alone. No such thing as equality, because you don't see that amongst their own at all. They only push that with us. You ain't really seen no white woman trying to fight for equality with their men. You only seen that amongst the sisters, with the brothers. That's another destructive mechanism they tried to use to destroy our homes. It's the truth. That is a Gentile state of mind to think that a woman is equal to a man. I don't care if it's a female, male, animal. You don't even see that amongst lions. Once a man has proven himself to be worthy of this pride, that woman submits herself. Not only does she submit herself, but she Proverbs 31 that thing and go get the food.
Hallelujah.
That man be chilling, protecting the house. Boy be sleeping about 20 hours. She gets up early, right? And go hunts. And helps protect the cubs. But the man is the protection and provision of pride, the pride rock.
Can I do two things out just to build on what you're talking about? I like to go to definitions, right? Equal. Being the same in quantity, size, degree, or value. I'm going to say that one more time. To be equal with a man mean the woman must be the same in quantity, size, degree, or value. Right? Now we must ask the question, is a woman all those things when what woman want to be attracted to something that look like her?
No.
A lesbian.
That acts like her.
A lesbian.
That thinks like her.
Lesbian.
You see what I mean? But even wait,
Even they go after the man, girl.
facts. You see what I'm saying? But even a feminine homosexual,
Or the woman
right?
that dressed like a man.
wants a woman that she want a masculine looking thing, an abomination.
Yeah, guess what? When they lay together, what she got with her? Something that resembles a man.
Something that resembles a man. Right? So think about the madness and what that just if we use that definition. If we think of that definition, that is insanity.
Insanity.
Amen.
And that is the point of this lesson. We're repeating the same generational plan since bondage and have not gone anywhere except backwards.
But now, what sisters should want is this: balance, an even distribution of weight, enabling someone or something to remain upright and steady. Our sisters should bring balance to the man. This is what makes it not good that man should be alone, that the man will become imbalanced. Our sisters should seek to balance us.
Yes.
How we discipline the children. Sometimes we could be too strong. Sometimes we may not be giving them enough attention because we're so busy working. Right? And the woman is there to remind the man, hey, babe, I see you, he may be eating wrong. He may have a bad diet. A woman will literally cue in on when you may have a limp and don't even know it. If your woman is in tune to you, she'll see the weight coming on you. She will see when you're stressed. So she is that safety valve that stops a man when he's really being a man and not a boy from being on 100 all the time. So a sister should seek balance with her, to seek to bring balance to her man, not equality. Does that make sense?
Okay. Hallelujah.
Came. Hallelujah.
Matthew 4:4, Ecclesiastes 12:13. We almost out of here. I'm waiting to do another part, but we got to finish this up.
Okay.
I got some things to tell you, brothers.
Matthew
Next
4:4.
week. Come on.
But he answered and said,
Right.
It is written.
It is what?
It is written.
Come on.
Man should not live by bread alone.
Man should not live by bread alone. Give me Matthew 4:4. Who had that? That's where I'm going to start at. Matthew 4:4.
That's what that is.
That's what you just read.
Wasn't
Is
it?
it?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Read that again. I'm sorry.
Hallelujah.
Oh, I heard something.
But he answered and said, It is written.
It is what?
Written.
Anytime you ever seen that, where did you see it at? When it said it is written where? In the beginning.
In the beginning.
In a beginning. Right? Come on.
Man should not live by bread alone,
Man should not live by the physical things alone, but what?
by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of
By
Elohim.
instructions.
That's Deuteronomy chapter 8.
But by instructions. You understand what I'm saying? Man. You say man, remember he, him, created he, them. Man, woman included. You are led by instructions. Y'all following along? Very simple. Ecclesiastes 12:13. Let's see what the instructions is. You can go back to Genesis 1.
Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter.
So let's hear the conclusion of this whole entire book. Come on.
Fear Elohim
Fear Elohim. Come on.
and keep his commandments.
And keep what?
Keep his commandments.
Keep his ordinances, where he laid that down in the beginning of the earth. Come on.
For this is the whole duty of man.
That's your whole entire life, duty and instruction. It's to follow Elohim. Anything outside of that, again, is a false balance and an abomination.
Okay.
Genesis 2:18.
Genesis 2:18.
Come on.
And the Adonai Elohim said, It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him and help me
He
for
will make him a what?
Help me for him.
Now let's see. Let's go. Let's see what that means in Hebrew. The word for help me is Azor or Azar. Let's get that real quick. Matter of fact, so it's Azar. Let me see. You got your blue. Matter of fact, I got it right here. It's cool. I don't know why the internet keep going in and out.
Oh, that's what's going on. I was tripping. That's like what's going on with that. I was trying to look up something.
Let's get that. It's Genesis 2:18, right? Let's get it. So the Hebrew word for help meet is H. Everybody write this down. H58:28. H58 and 28. The Hebrew word for help meet is Azar. Everybody say Azar.
Azar.
Azar means to help. Also means the root, which means to help, support. She's also a protector or aid.
Balance.
Balance, exactly. And so that is the purpose of why woman was created, to be a help or aid. Not superior nor equal, but to be an aid of the man's mission or assignment given to him by Yah. You understand? And so when we go in to see this meaning, now let's put it in this context. Let's get back to it. Genesis 2. Read it again for me. Genesis 2:18.
Genesis 2:18.
Right.
And the Adonai Elohim said, It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him and help me.
I will make him an aid, a added protection. Right? An added protection. The man is what? The head. Who helps that man stay about? What helps the head stay balanced?
Neck.
The neck.
The neck.
The neck as well.
And the backbone. You are there in support of the head. Do you understand?
Hallelujah.
Very simple. Nothing more and nothing less. Nothing more and nothing less. You are there to help that man. A righteous, let's get you clear. A righteous man.
Righteous man. There you go.
A righteous man.
Righteous.
You are there to help that righteous man, which your father or your elder is in the protection or aid to help you find someone that is like himself, that is aligned with the Creator. You do not do that by yourself, because that's you leaning on your own understanding.
You were not built to choose for your own. Adam was not built to choose for his own. Who chose Eve for him? The Father. Adam didn't choose Eve. Adam did not choose Eve. Very simple. Let me get this real quick. Stay right there. 1 Corinthians 11. We're going to wrap this up a little bit. 1 Corinthians 11. Where I want to go.
You said 2 and 11?
1 Corinthians chapter 11. Let's see. Where I want to go to. Page 9.
You want to go verse 3?
No. What was that? It said the woman was not created for herself. Oh, there we go. Okay. 1 Corinthians 11, chapter 11, verse, let's say start at 8. For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. So I don't even understand how do women teach out of this book, but miss this part. How do you teach out of this book and miss this part?
And brother, it wouldn't be equal.
They skip over it.
Neither was the man created for the woman. The man was not created for you sisters. He was created for Yah. You was created for him. He's not there to support your plan. You're there to support his plan.
Bro, we lost a few people we had.
So it says, neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head. Not her physical head, her head. That's why it's that little thing called, it's kind of like curses, but leaning over a little bit. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
Tablet.
You're right.
Mm.
It's,
What you talking about?
Wait.
Possibly.
you see how the her is leaning with the head.
Oh, that's italics?
Yeah, italic, right.
Yeah, that was joint. That was
Right.
That was put in there. Yeah.
So anytime you see that, it's not literally talking about that. It's talking about something else.
yeah.
And so it's talking about to have power on her head because of who? The angels. Right? Nevertheless, neither is the woman. Now that's the difference. It says, for the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. But then it hopped down and said, nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman. So yeah, you weren't created for the woman, but you're nothing without her. I mean, it's plain and simple. You need a help. You need help. The Father created her to help. Let her be a help. Right? Neither is the woman without the man in Hamashiach. For as the woman is of the man, even so is the man also by the woman. But all things of Yah. Echad. Oneness. Right? Mm-hmm. And so we see that going on with Adam. Everybody had their part that created this oneness. And so, with that being said, let's go back to Genesis 2 and 18.
Genesis 2 and 18. And the Adonai Elohim said, it is not good that man should be alone. I will make him and help me.
I will make him and help me. So we can identify that Yah gave Adam a game plan, right? He gave him a structure, and he gave him an order in how to run the house. Okay. These are the 4 pillars of a household: a plan, a structure, and order on how to run the house, right? And so we notice that he teaches Adam these things on how to instruct and how to have dominion over the animals, right? And that is a major factor in the difference when it comes to natural order. It really is. It's a major difference when you actually know what you're doing and why you're doing it. You can know what you're doing but not know why you're doing it, which puts a void. Mm-hmm. But to know what you're doing and why you're doing it, it becomes righteous and natural in the eyes of the Father.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Y'all follow me?
Okay.
And so, the natural order is figuring how to make a boy to a man. And a woman cannot do that. Only his father can do that. So we have to get out this mindset that the child is yours for the sisters. Because if we're going to say we're Hebrews, right? Mm-hmm. We're Israelites, right? According to our book, Numbers 1 and 18, when 2 Israelites come together, that child is pronounced and ordained by the tribe of his father. He is named by his father. Y'all get what I'm saying? And anything outside that, you really are a Gentile. And guess what the father told the men of Israel to do with Gentile women and children? Put them away. Put them away. So you got to ask yourself, are you going to stay in line with the father, or will you be put away? That's for men, women, and children. What do you say about the ungodly children? Right? We're not supposed to give things to them. It all falls in line. It may be harsh according to this world.
Oh, it is.
But guess what? That's just the life that the Father ordained it to be. He ain't dealing with no filthiness. He ain't dealing with no out of orderness. He ain't dealing with anything unnatural that leads it back to Satan. So if you got a problem with that, you got a problem with the Father. And that's the mindset we got to have. You ain't got no problem with me. You ain't got no problem with brothers or sisters want to find. You got a problem with the Father. You know? That's a dangerous game to play. Let's keep reading.
And out of the ground, the Adonai Elohim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam.
Brought them unto who?
Adam.
Did I say Eve?
Adam.
He brought them to Adam. Come on.
To see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof.
So the Father gave Adam this power of assigning and naming. Because remember, these things were named after their assignments.
Okay.
Really, they were named after their assignment. And so Adam was assigning and managing these things on what they should do. Y'all following me? That is the role of a man, is to conquer and be able to have dominion. If you outside of that, you are outside of the norm.
And I would like to add, why would the Most High give this responsibility to Adam? Because Adam had dominion on the earth. And he who defines a thing controls a thing. Notice we are called niggas, Negroes. Who do you think why we will be renamed? Why will we lose our identity? Because we would lose our instinctual value, our patriarchal lineage value. We were renamed because we were repurposed to be slaves.
Right.
So we lost our names because we lost the ability to define ourselves, our culture. Right?
Yep.
But Adam, when he named things, that was proven, that was what that was doing, was establishing his authority over creation. Yah gave him that privilege. He gave him that right. Because Adam was the crown creation of man. Right? So this is where we're at. By us repairing the breach and restoring the paths to dwell in, by coming back into the Edenic Hebrew Israelite fashion.
Right.
And we're putting on our names, we're redefining ourselves, we're breaking off the chains and the shackles of slavery. But naming is one thing. Now we must begin to function as Hebrews.
Function in that name.
We must begin to function in those names.
What's your name?
Sakaya.
What's your name?
Yaakov.
What's your name?
Ashiam Yah.
What's your name?
Amina.
What's your name?
Adai.
Mikael. We must function in the name. This is why I tell y'all, your name is a prophetical meaning for your purpose. What does your name mean?
The purity of Yah.
You must function in that purpose. What does your name mean?
The fiery hand of Yah.
You must function in that purpose. What does your name mean?
I'm trustworthy and loyal.
Loyal. You must function in that name. What does that mean?
Supplanter.
Surplanted. One who is surplanted means you are grounded. By who? Father. You must function in that name as a man of groundness and balance. What does your name mean?
Adai. Yah has adorned her. The Most High has put himself on me.
And so what that means, he is the glory of Yah, meaning he has to be in line with the Creator. What does my name mean? Who is like Elohim? Someone who thinks, functions, and moves like him. That is our functionality. That is what the naming process was about when Adam said, you are called an eagle, or you are called this, or you are called that. He is giving you your name and purpose of why you're here. Really think about that. Y'all didn't name yourself, did y'all? It had to be a functional man who understood why you were here, because you didn't understand yourself before you got here. Like the brother said, he learned some things by being here. And you've been learning and walking for quite some time now, right? Mm-hmm. But it wasn't until he got here where he started to function as a true Hebrew man. Why? By way of righteous men teaching him the way. You see how that worked? That go over somebody's head? Okay.
So yeah, we see Adam was defining the animals by giving them their names. So like even when we look in dictionaries, what are we looking for? We're looking for what that word means. We're looking up a definition. So even when, as the brother just talked about our Hebrew names, we literally could look at that in our names and people can define us. It's like opening up a dictionary and say, man, what is Adiah about? What's supposed to be about? You see? What's his function when it comes to this culture, to his community, to his nation, to his tribe? Okay. This is what he's supposed to be contributing. Mm-hmm. This is what Mikael's supposed to be giving and committing to the community. And he's doing a good job of it. But our enemies have redefined this because they understand that I'm going to repurpose them. I'm going to change their purpose. And Yas, that's why he said, I have sold you to the heathen. Mm-hmm. He sold us. And that's why we were bought by our enemies in this Atlantic slave trade. We're literally being bought. Okay?
Okay.
And so the minute change their names, mm-hmm. change their purpose, we're going to reduce them to farming equipment.
Mm-hmm. That's harsh, man. Where you put that?
Huh?
What you just said, reducing to.
But that's what chattel slavery is. We've been repurposed. We're chattel.
That's bad.
We're nothing but tools now. But because Yah has been great and he said he has made a promise with our fathers that he will cause us to remember where we were and where we spread. So now the first thing that's being changed is brothers regaining their identity. But now we're moving into another phase. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to allow you to have my name on you and you not do anything. Mm-hmm. You not be functional. You not be purposeful.
Okay.
I'm not going to do that. You will no longer take my name in vanity.
Okay.
Into purposelessness. Okay?
Okay.
Hallelujah.
And so with that, we see that he gives Adam this dominion or manager position, CEO type thing, right?
Okay.
CEO. And so what is that responsibility? Family, community, and environment. That's the three components he has control over. He has the rights to do that. And so the problem is this, and I want to say this in the words of Imagina. She said, most men in this society who don't understand responsibility are more reactive than proactive.
Say that one more time.
Say it again. Imagina said, most men who do not understand responsibility, meaning cannot make decisions for themselves, cannot lead or guide not only the people around them but themselves, are more reactive than proactive. Meaning something has to happen for them to get the fire under their butt to move. And that is the truth of the matter when it comes to the society of the so-called Negro man in America. This is the reason why most don't want to leave. Because they're reacting to the shift of this system rather than the shift of Yah. Y'all follow me? And so when you have men who start moving in that area, this man become public enemy number one. Mm-hmm. Oh shoot, this man is moving way different than we planned on doing. Therefore, you become an enemy. But guess what Yah said? You're with me, I become an enemy to your enemies.
That brother's talking about some. Oh, he think he's smart.
When you hear people say that, that's how you know they paying attention. They focused on what you doing now. Or you think you somebody. Nah, the Father made me somebody.
Okay.
No, I don't think I'm anything. I'm just a servant. The Father did this. I ain't do nothing. So you have to recognize it's not you they going against. Because you're not you. You are the Father. You are in the shape and likeness of Him. And when you start moving like that, the world is against you. This is why Mashiach said, although you're in the world, do not be of the world.
Let me get this verse right quick.
Where we at on time, Mike?
We got to get through it. We like past 5, so I got just a few more. If I can get through this, I'll let you get something in.
I was gonna kill it for the brothers.
Just hold on your thought. Let them get through the lesson, and we will let you get the closing scripture.
Okay, and so with that, right, we see the Father is giving him a plan, giving him order. And so what brothers have to recognize is, before getting a helpmeet, you need to ask yourself, why do you need her? What is the purpose? Is it just for lust? Is it just for sex? Is it just to feel that comfort, right? And so a lot of men really don't want a woman because they need the help with building the kingdom. They want a woman for comfort. They want a woman that is nurturing. The same nurturing they either got for their mama or did not get from their mama. Like I said, case in point is this. If y'all are one, if y'all are truly married, why is there 2 plans rather than 1? See, a lot of people go into marriages with, she got her plan, we talked about this, and he got his plan. Where it really should only be 1 plan. Anything outside of what that man needs and say he needs is out of order. And the purpose of you being there is to use your gift that the Father giving you to help that man. Does that mean I'm saying you should not have a job or have your own business? No. But like we say, it has to complement what that man ultimately needs. You want to own a clothing store? That's good. Let your man be the model for you then. Dress him up in nice apparel and royal garments. Right? You want to do real estate? Okay, then come up with a plan that helps build your man's kingdom, your husband's kingdom. Everything has to be in line. Just like us, we can't go into our own. I want to do this. I want to be a Bob. No. What does the Father want you to do? Stop leaning onto what you think you need to do. And so you have to have a purpose of you wanting a wife or wives. If that isn't even in the plan of the Creator for you. Because even that, some brothers shouldn't even be doing that. And so, and with that, women have to have a motor that constantly needs oil. Y'all feel what I'm saying? So if you don't nurture that engine constantly, what happens to it? Breaks down and it dries up. So if you're not nurturing her with the right oil or oil at all, she'll eventually break down and become a Jezebel, or she'll become defiant, or she won't listen, or she'll look at you as you're her equal because you have not risen up to the kingship that the Father has placed you in. Mm-hmm. Period. Yeah. Period. And so this is what Eve was created to be. A helpmeet for Adam. Period. Was she there for her own dreams or aspirations? I mean, let me know. I'm looking through writings. Was she there for her own?
I mean, Shaitan gave her. He gave her the hook up. He told him, yo, don't even do that, bro. They homegirls. They tripping. Mm-hmm. They don't want you to eat that fruit because the minute you eat it, you gonna know good and evil, bro. Mm-hmm.
You can do better, girl.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You can be your own head. You ain't gotta be under no rule of no man. You go be a goddess.
Right.
A black woman is God.
Hallelujah.
You know what I'm saying?
So let's get to Genesis 2 and 3. They gonna cut us off over here, boy.
They gonna cut us off there.
This nigga is reckless.
Boy, the blasphemy.
They just say all types of shit over here. Let's get through it. Genesis 2 and 3. We about to wrap it up.
Yeah, I'm good.
And Adonai Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which the Adonai Elohim had taken from man made he a woman.
Made him a what?
A woman.
He took a piece of himself and created woman. Woman, Isha. He created an Isha. Isha does not just mean wife, it also means woman. He took a piece of himself. He took the weaker vessel of himself and formulated into his likeness. Come on.
And Adam said, This is now bone of my bone.
Hold on, bone of my bone, piece of me, right? A vessel of me, right?
Okay. And flesh of my flesh.
Flesh of my flesh, come on.
She shall be called woman.
Isha. Come on.
Because she was taken out of man.
Ish. Where did it say she was the equal head? Where does it say that at? Nowhere. It said bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She should be called a woman because she came out of who? He didn't come out of her. She came out of who? The man. She's a piece of the man. And so when a woman gets pregnant, she is birthing a man. A piece of that man. And multiplying that man. She's not multiplying herself. She's multiplying that man. This has been ordained since the beginning. And so when we're in functionality according to the Father, all is well. And so when you have children who are not in order with this, most of the time because y'all weren't the perfect fit from the beginning, therefore you've created an unfit child, ungodly child.
Child of disobedience.
The child of disobedience and error. And this is the portion you get for that. Because you didn't take the right steps ordained since the beginning to see if this man or woman was fit for you. Therefore, you have the stats you have today: 70% divorce rate. Out of that, out of 51% of lesbians are raising your children. 50% of black males have never been married or don't want to get married. These are the stats of when you want to go outside the ordinary structure of the Creator. Are y'all following me? And so with that, I want to end with this. Ephesians 5 and 21. Or 22. Ephesians 5 and 22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands.
Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I just knew you was going to 24. I'm going to verse 24.
Which one?
Of chapter 2, 24 of Genesis.
Yeah, go ahead.
Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Not a two-headed monster. Not no. I want an independent woman. I want a woman with her own mind. You know what I'm saying? I want a best friend I can ride. She doing her thing, I'm doing my thing. And above even that, a man leaves his father and mother house.
Why did he leave? Remember,
a man leaves his father.
Why did he leave? Because he was sent out on an assignment.
Okay.
And that's the thing with black families. We send our children out before they need to. Before we give them an assignment. And this is also a result. So he left because he had an assignment. Not only did he have an assignment, he had help to help him with that assignment.
Okay. And he would choose that Isha according to the assignment he has. The father already has relationship with other men within the tribes that says, I know based on the way this family functions, they are going to produce a daughter that my son is going to need.
Okay.
Hello.
Huh? That my son is going to need to become one with, so the purposes of the Most High will continue.
Continue to multiply.
And multiply.
Yup.
That is called an inheritance.
Echad Maku.
Echad Maku. One kingdom.
One kingdom under one law, under one ordinance, statutes, and commandments. What did it say? Love the Father with all your what? Heart, mind, and soul. That is the one commandment that helps you follow all the rest of it. And so, men, if you love the Father with all your heart, mind, and soul, you'll be in line. Women, you love the Father with all your heart, mind, and soul, you will be in line with that man. And so now forward into the children. And so with that, that's the conclusion of part 1.
Hallelujah.
You know what I'm saying?
You forgot Ephesians.
Yeah, Ephesians.
Ephesians
We
5.
wanna go there.
Oh yeah, let me finish that. I'm sorry. So we got Ephesians 5:22. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands. Remember, watch what they say next. As unto Hamashiach.
Wait, what? We're in
It's done. I'm done.
5:22. Yeah. So again, this is a general question to my Isha. Would you do the same to your Hosha? Would you do certain things to your Hosha? Would you say certain things, right? What would you do if your Hosha was right here? That's the same question we all need to ask ourselves each and every day. We thinking or feeling or about to do some folly. What would you do if your Hosha was here? What would your Hosha do? Right? And so 23 says, for the husband is the what?
Head of the wife.
Head of the wife, Abba. He's also her father, if you want to be technical. Because whose place is he taking? Her father.
Uh-oh, man, stop.
Her father. The man is her father,
She a grown woman.
her Mashiach, her husband, and her master.
That's a grown woman you talking about.
And her master.
Bruh.
He is taking, this is why the father gives off the
I
daughter.
got my own education.
We do it every day in
I
weddings.
got my own. Hey, bruh.
We do it every day in weddings. Who is walking this woman down to the husband?
Hey, I can't
Who is passing her along?
She
The
ain't.
father is passing her along to the husband because he's taking the place of him as the protector, as the one providing, as the one who gives her provision and order.
I get it, bruh.
The man is her father, her husband, her anointed king, and her master.
But, homie,
I can't.
you know,
For
we
the
been-
husband is the Ab. He is the Ab of the wife, even as Hamashiach is the Ab.
So you mean I done done all this struggling on my own?
Is the
You tell me I'm
Ab
submitted to
of the congregation.
All right, it started to sound okay.
And he is the savior of the body.
Okay.
The man is the savior of that woman.
Okay.
Especially if you grew up in the world. So you get you a righteous man who took you in under his wing and provision, brought you into this walk. He is your savior because he saved you from damnation.
Jesus is my savior, brother.
But what about that Neo song?
That song is right in the lake with the rest of them independents.
And that independent got a date.
They all sitting together trying to figure out how they gonna get that groove back.
So with that, I'm closing it down.
Hallelujah.
That's the end of part 1. Next week I'm getting on you brothers, and we about to go in. We about to go in. So I hope y'all prepared. I hope everybody was edified by the lesson. I appreciate y'all listening, being engaged. So now we're gonna open it up for any questions, concerns, or comments. Hallelujah.
Close the books on this one, brother.
Yeah, that's what I
Drop the
said.
mic.
Drop the mic like
mic
poof.
drop.
That was some good commentary.
What everybody saying?
They're still there.
So it's all good. We thank you for those who did tune in. Thank you so much for spending another Shabbat with us, and for those of you who will tune in later, we ask that you stay. This is a series of lessons that Brother Mikhail is doing, dealing with oneness and returning back to oneness, as using Genesis as the foundational tool on how we come back to one. And so we thank you for your ears and your time to listen, and hopefully you'll get something edifying out of it. And most of all, that something will possibly change your life and change your perspective of what it's going to take to pull ourselves out of our present condition.
Okay.
And that another generation will not have to suffer the way we suffered. We don't have to, no longer we have to walk in ignorance of the schematics, the blueprint that we have been given to have healthy, sound families. to be a holistic family once again, the way that it was originally intended. So again, I thank you, More. It was a very excellent lesson, man, and it's something that I'm gonna be listening to over and over again, because I think this is one thing that you're gonna have to kind of listen to perpetually to let the kind of get the reprogramming in of what it means. Because even when we go in Christianity, those of us who left Christianity, yeah, we literally go to church, but then we come out with no plan, no agenda, no capability to actually do something in our present condition. So we're just being told to wait. You know, we're just being told to sit still and be idle and do nothing while we wait for our Mashiach to come. But we're under the command to prepare. We have to prepare for his coming. He's coming back for a bride without spot or wrinkle. So that means he's coming back for something that's already in motion. A woman that is already being trained to please him when he comes. Just like we spoke of the daughters being prepared for the son to be able to work in his purposes. What good is it for us to say that we are going to be his bride? And a king is going to come and we are not prepared to walk in queendom. To walk as a sanctified, typified queen that is able to be given authority to actually begin giving legislation to distribute among the nations. Huh? So Yah has given us something to do. He's given us something to do until he comes, and that's to prepare, and that's to serve him and wait on him. So this is going to mean a functionality. This is going to, we're taking these symbols off the page of this book, and we're going to start walking this stuff out in our life. Okay. And we have eldership that is causing us, compelling us to become doers of the word. Doers, no longer just hearers, but doers. From the husband on down to the children. Okay? So we will be continuing this series. Hopefully you'll stay tuned in. And we know that by the time this lesson is done by More, we have no doubt that this will be a life-changing experience for those who have not heard. It's most definitely directed to Sister Jean.
Yeah. So what's been a big help in the guide to me on this lesson has been this book. It's called The Them in Him. The Them in Him is by Dr. Gina Murray, who is the Echad of Elder Thomas Murray from the tribe of the Murray family. This is definitely an influential and powerful and profound writing and a blueprint for anybody who is trying to truly get in order with their families, who's trying to understand the way, as Mashiach has put it, and to get back in righteous and tribal order, as the Father has ordained us to be. Because we're literally a tribe, you know what I'm saying? To be a nation, you must understand how to be a tribe first. And so this book really put it in great perspective on how we should be as Hebrews, not Americans, not African Americans, not black people, not Negroes, but how it is to be Ibrim, Hebrews. And so I suggest everybody, you can go to Amazon and purchase this book, or you can message Dr. Gina Murray and get this book yourself. I got this from Amazon. She also has another book called, I believe, the Brotherhood of the Kinsman Redeemer. I may be wrong with the title, but she has 2 books out. This is book 1. I would invite everybody, especially brothers, to get book 2 as well. Because before being a brother, before being a husband, you must first learn how to be a son. In the words of Elder Thomas Murray. And so with that, we thank everybody who came on. We appreciate everybody who came on. We appreciate everybody who supported the soundtrack that is out now. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns after this, definitely message us. And we appreciate y'all. So with that, we're going to ride out to the new track. And as a family, we say, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shalanu, Abu Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. In three things, I was beautified and stood up beautiful both before Elohim and man. One, being the unity of brethren. Two, the love of neighbors. And the third witness is a man and a wife that agree together. Through understanding these things, Abba, our deliverance draws nigh. So forgive all forefathers and foremothers for their transgressions. Forgive the transgressions of this forward generation and continue to uproot the children of light. For you said, come unto me, all ye that desires of me, and fill yourselves with my fruits. So therefore shall every man be judged by his fruits. I just pray my fruits are those of a righteous rule. So change is gonna come, they said. But in order to see a change, you must first change yourself. For it was said the seed can only be watered correctly when the planter understands exactly what it needs and what foundation it must grow from. So let your will be done, Abba. Let your will be done. For I said, consider that I labor not for myself only, but for all them that seek learning. Hear me, O great man of the people. Hearken with your ears, ye rulers of the congregation. Give not thy son and wife, thy brother or a friend power over thee while thou livest. And give not thy goods to another unless it offend thee. Thou would treat for the same again, as long as thou livest and have breath in thee. Give not thyself over to any, for it is better that thy children should seek thee, than that should stand in their courtesy. Hallelujah. Blessed the man that is found without blemish.